Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Terminator Cameron verse in review. That's right, we are ranking and reviewing.
Yeah, I did too.
Just the three movies that James Cameron had anything to do with when it comes to Terminator. As always, I'm Tim Gettys. This is Andy Cortez. That is Kevin Coelho. That's Greg Miller. We got cold Nick over there.
It was cold in here this morning.
Yeah, it looks like you're wearing a blanket.
I don't know whose this is either. I just found it on the couch.
Chill.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Like stale beer, so I'm guessing it's Greg's, but I'm not quite sure.
It was on the couch after the Halloween party, along with a bunch of other random clothes. It's not mine. I assume somebody got cold and took it out of the closet.
No, I think it's Joey's.
Okay, it's probably Joe's.
Yeah.
So stale White Claw is what it smells like.
Yeah, that's White Claw right there.
Yeah, that's White Claw living. We
before-
got the Milk Mommy here. Milk Mommy 2019.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love
guys.
that photo. Oh my god, made me smile.
Oh, that's your phone. Did I have to take 40 or 50 photos to, get it as
nail the
close?
look?
Yeah.
You know how many times I had to build the Eiffel Tower to see if I can get it right?
45 times.
Jeez, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
Let me see.
God damn, that's horrifying.
Screenshot that.
screenshot
Tweet that out.
Yeah.
That's
That's
great.
Instagram post for tomorrow.
Got it.
What are you gonna say, Greg?
Before anybody can bring me down, Dark Fate. What a film! Had a great time. Thank you.
Oh, hey, good. We're talking about Terminator Dark Fate, released on November 1st, 2019, directed by Tim Miller. He made his first feature film directing debut with Deadpool 2016. He was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film as co-story writer and executive producer of the short animated film Gopher Broke.
My
Gopher.
favorite. Oh,
Is it
no,
about a
I don't
gopher?
remember that. I don't remember that one.
Yes, about a gopher. Gopher
Is it about
Broke.
Gopher?
don't
Gopher?
In 2004. Miller also designed the title sequences of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo
Oh, I love that one.
and Thor Dark World.
Yeah, those are great.
Very, very good.
The girl with the dragon tattoo, if I'm not mistaken, was the one where like dark oil was being poured
Yeah.
on like angels and stuff.
Really
It was
freaking cool
fucked
stuff.
up. And it was like 9 Inch Nails.
Before we go forward, this is Kind of Funny in Review. You can get it on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames live. Watch it later, youtube.com/kindoffunny, roosterteeth.com, or podcast services. Just search for Kind of Funny Reviews. Bless you, Andy.
Thank you.
That was so quiet.
Try to hold it by sneeze, man.
Don't do it, dude. Your eyes
Sounds
can pop.
dangerous, yeah. I don't want you
I'd like
to pop.
to see them try, Kevin.
A budget of $185 million and a box office currently of $12.6 million.
He's like holding his face.
What is wrong with you?
The movie just came out in America today, so obviously that number will get a lot larger over the weekend. And a runtime of 2 hours and 8 minutes, respecting our time. You really got to appreciate that in this day and age.
2 hours and
8 minutes. Eight.
And 8
So about 156 without end credits.
128 minutes is what the thing said. Yeah, okay. Before we get into the plot and all that stuff, what do we think about Terminator Dark Fate? Greg, you want to start?
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time. I think my expectations for Terminator sequels now are so low. You know what I mean? That I was like, how bad can it be? You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh man, this is. You see Arnold Schwarzenegger in there, Linda Hamilton in there. They're out there doing cool shit together again. I was like, all right, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time here. I was drinking. I was at the Alamo Draft House. I was having a great time. It's how I should watch an action flick, right? You know what I mean?
You're just yelling
You
at
don't
people.
like action flicks.
People around you are just like, shut the fuck up. You're like,
Don't go in there.
Is it Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? No, of course not. Did any of us think it would be? No. But what a fun thing. What a good way to reboot it, too, of like not have it be about Skynet. Like that was, I loved that when Sarah Connor starts that and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, yeah, we did it. We did accomplish our goals. And then, of course, Carl, come on now.
Okay.
Come on. I want to go see it again.
Kevin.
I think that some of the points he's making actually, like, those are the things that I dislike the most. Because, like, I thought this was...
So the opposite.
This was, this was a movie that I was like, it's fine, but just overall, I feel like it weakens Terminator, where it's like...
Well, yes, every sequel. Every sequel is going to weaken
Not Terminator 2.
Well, I'm,
You know what I mean?
I'm putting them together.
No, I know, but that's the thing. Like, we should hold it to a higher standard. Well, where in this, it's like, great, they killed Skynet, they stopped that, but something else is going to come. So, doesn't really matter what happens with this girl, because eventually...
It's the Dark Fate, Kevin.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know, and it's just such a, like...
There's always a bigger
what's-
fish.
Well, in
what's the
Terminator
point?
3,
Let
that
them
was the
win
point
then.
of it, right? That, like,
Yeah.
you never stop Judgment Day. Judgment Day is always going to come, yeah.
But it's just like, then just let it win. Just let it win. Just give
Agreed.
up, kill everyone.
Totally. If I was like when they, I love the scene when the thing's like, just give me the girl. Like I would have honestly give him my right nut in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Would have ripped that fucker off.
He's like, I don't
Just
need,
like,
I don't need that, sir. I don't need that.
I
right
just
now.
want to ask you some questions about what it's like being a robot and what it's like in the future, and then you can, if you kill me quick, you can kill me. Just make it painless.
blade through my brain.
right? I don't care. There's no shenanigans, right? I'll strip down. I'll get naked on my knees. All right. I just got
No one's asking you to do that, Greg. I'm a robot.
He's immediately gonna go knife hands and be like, "No, you got some kind of bomb on you." And I'm
I
like,
just
got
want the
nothing.
girl. That's all I want.
Please, sir.
I
Put
already
your
told
shirt
you
back
this.
on.
You are involved in this. Put your pants back on.
I will submit to an
Take
oral
my left
cavity
nut.
surgery.
Take it. Wait. Just to continue a little bit more, I also feel like the Carl character, while has its funny moments, it's like, man, they took a Terminator, you know, the T-800 Model 101, and they left him in this world. And what did he do? He became a person. So it's like,
Awesome.
so all these is it awesome?
Yeah.
Is it awesome?
He's a learning computer.
Yeah, but like that learning computer. That's
Remember
a
at the
killing
end when he's
machine?
like, "I now know why you cry." This is what would happen of 20 years of that.
Well, no, with the exception of like it had been reprogrammed to not be. Like,
This is-
I hate all humans. I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah, like
But he
at,
was
at
taking
the
a
end of
mission.
She's
Terminator
like,
2.
hey, I turned a nice guy, but he still has the programming. So if somehow John Connor walked in at that moment, he would still be like, die, right, and shoot him.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. He grew a conscience, so we're not
Yeah,
sure,
but
you know.
like, does a conscience overrun like programming?
We don't know
I
because
don't
he's
think so.
fucking dead, Kevin. He
Yeah.
died brutally.
I feel like
Awesome.
this was a Terminator that, like, for the last 20 years, has been watching, like, Everybody Loves Raymond and Cheers and stuff, and he just kind of became
Baby, I hear
normalized.
the blues are calling.
I love
Did he
it.
become normalized? Was he a draper?
yeah, he makes drapes. Yeah.
Carl
So-
Sagan,
like-
dude.
some of those lines, like, I was cracking
those
up
lines
at.
are really funny.
I enjoyed the movie, too. I went in with the same expectations as Greg. I knew it wasn't going to be a fucking huge box office hit. I knew I wasn't going to be sitting there and like have awesome lines of dialogue with
Sure.
really deep character arcs and shit like that. I thought the action is like some of the best action I've seen on a screen that big. It was intense. The opening sequence and even that final sequence, like I am tensed up. I'm like, oh my god, my butthole just.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
god, the sound.
That's really
Slurping
good.
in
Sound.
That's
slurping
Andy's
in
review.
liquids.
Taking the undies inside.
Yeah. I thought it was badass. We kind of saw. I can understand why you're why you're kind of bummed out about it, Kevin,
Yeah.
because it's
And-
they did to
Wait, real
Terminator what Thor Ragnarok did to Hulk. Like they kind of made him like comedic relief in a way. But I had no problem
Well,
with
great
it.
news. You can go watch Terminator 3 if you want to just see him be the Terminator again. So there you go.
Yeah.
So there
No,
you
he's
go.
still nice in that. It's like Terminator 2. It's more of Terminator 2.
What were you gonna say, Kev?
Are we like? Because I went a little spoilery there.
I mean,
and
it's,
like
we're
that's-
doing in review. They're about to get the
No,
entire
I know, but
plot.
like, are we hitting like a wall where we're putting up like, hey, the spoilers are coming
We're
in?
out.
Spoilers are on our end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the sirens.
It was good. I mean, I think it was an unfortunate disappointment, a fun, unfortunate disappointment. I'll agree that I think the action was really, really fun to watch. I thought the three leads were really strong, but I just feel like this was needlessly retconning a lot of stuff from the first two that I just don't understand why they would need to do that. It has the cardinal sin for me of bringing up a horrible moment in my childhood with Alien 3, where it just starts and they killed off Hicks. And he's just dead off screen. No, you know what I mean? And Newt's dead also. We don't even see Hicks's body. It's just because they couldn't get him back in the movie, apparently. So, like, the fact that they're just going to be like, hey, all that stuff that happened is just useless now, and we're going to go on, for me, just didn't work. And also just a lot of the comedic beats, I was like, okay, it was more Terminator 3 than Terminator 2, and that's unfortunate because I thought, I was like, oh, James Cameron's name is associated with this. You would think he stopped by for a story meeting here and there. I don't think he did. I think this is the one time James Cameron's name has been on something. Well, actually, probably the second time James Cameron's name's been on something in notable in the last like 10 years, where I don't think his touch was felt in it.
To me,
Alita
this
Battle
was like
Angel being the other thing.
This was like the fast fearification or Marvelization of the Terminator series, where I feel like it's just what Terminator would be if it existed today,
Sure.
where you kind of have high
I think it's
action
more
with
phase 2 Marvel.
silly. Yeah, sure, but I mean it would have been one thing if all the comedy fell flat, but like for me, a decent amount of it hit pretty high, so I enjoyed it.
I thought.
Go Go for it.
I was gonna say, well, I thought Mackenzie Davis and I think Natalie Reyes is her name. I thought they had a great dynamic together, and I thought Linda Hamilton held her own
brought it for what she
for
is.
what that character is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And shout out to the guy that played the R or whatever, the other Terminator.
He was badass.
Rev
It was
9,
cool,
I believe.
but it's one of those things where I was like, okay, did we just not have any other ideas for what
Yeah.
these Terminators can be?
They just
so it's
combined
basically just
Terminator-
liquid the
yeah.
two Terminators were like that's all.
All right,
it can
cool.
Be. And like I get it, it's an action movie, and they weren't trying to make anything more than that. They were like, let's put some loose plot elements in here. How do we get Arnold back in a way that feels fun, I guess, and somewhat validating? And him as a Draper, I would have been like, that's a funny idea. Let's never bring that up again. And somehow that made it to the fucking screen. But I was, you know what I mean?
See, I think that they
And
set
I
out to make
think
it.
at the end, I think like one of the taglines of his drapery business was like, "You're not alone" or something like that, or "You're never alone" or some shit. I was like, "What the fuck are they doing here?" It was very weird.
Yeah, I thought they set out to make an action movie, and they really accomplished it. I'm with Andy, where it's like, I think from an action perspective, like Tim Miller knows what he's doing, and like
Definitely.
he really, really, really accomplished it. That for opening chase scene, I was riveted the entire time,
badass.
so in, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think it is more T2 than T3. I also don't think that this is necessarily like something that I'd compare it to. The idea of this being the best Terminator sequel since T2, I think it's easy to say.
Of course,
I don't
yeah.
think that's a question. But I think it's more than that, where it's like, it's not so much a sequel as much as it's this new kind of genre of things of a 30 years later reboot sequel thing. And we saw it recently with Halloween and with Jamie Lee Curtis coming back. And they're like, we're going to take away all the ones that weren't that great. This is a sequel to Halloween 1 and 2, right? Or Halloween 1. We're just going straight in and we're going to handle it that way. And this does that as well. And I thought it did a really good job of that, of bringing back Lynn Hamilton and having her, all the I'll be back stuff. Every single thing that was in the trailer that I was cringing at, I thought worked in the movie. I thought that the CG fight scenes that the trailer really relied on with the fast cuts and everything, that I was like, oh God, this is going to be horrible. Seeing it play out, I was like, I'm actually in this. You're letting this fight breathe in a way that I didn't expect them to. And all of the stupid lines, all the corny bits that come up, I was like, I think it works in context. And I think this movie really at the end of the day it's good. It's not great. It's not, T2. It's not T1.
Obviously.
Definitely not. But I think that its biggest thing of whether or not people are going to like it or not like it is if they vibe with the idea of what they do to John Connor. Because I feel like the movie starts off that way, and you're either going to be like, you guys are just like, nah, I don't like this, or you're going to be like, this is pretty fucking cool. And I fall into that camp.
I totally
where
was in that. I was like, that was awesome.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I was that confused in the beginning of just like, wait, is this old footage? This looks so incredibly
the effects were
good.
phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
But also
Not only
shocking
that-
that they did it though and committed to it, and like they just killed John Connor when he was a kid. It's not like that it was in the future or whatever. And I liked that because any way I would have predicted what this movie was, I wouldn't have seen that happen. And I thought they did a good job acting
but
on it
like-
because when they bring up the Skynet, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck that is. That's cool.
That's a cool twist to me.
Yeah, but like I feel like the idea and like of like, well, it's time travel is it sucks that they're just like, oh, in the future they had sent back a bunch of ones through different times. It's like, yeah, but like once the timelines diverge, shouldn't that like then undo that? Because it hasn't happened yet, even though it happened in a different future.
Yeah,
like, where
the
that's
time
like,
travel stuff though is
and
like
also every
don't
time
have
they
rules.
sent one back, the like resistance was ready to send something back, and it just to me it feels like them breaking the rule of like it seemed like a big thing. Like whenever a Terminator was sent back, the resistance was ready to send someone back to help, and then it just stopped. And also, I can't imagine.
Well, it's not that it stopped so much as they sent multiple at once, right?
I mean,
Isn't that the implementation?
but
That when
that's
they
not
sent
how,
T1000, they sent additional guys.
Yeah, but the idea behind the first one was that they sent the first one, and then they, as we saw in Salvation, we see, like, I actually would really like to go back and watch Terminator Salvation now. I know it's not canon anymore, but if I'm not mistaken, the whole part of that was like building up to that moment where they had to send Kyle Reese back, and like when they found the time machine for the first time and like took it over and were like, we're going to destroy this thing, but right before we do that, we're sending someone back. I thought it was cool. But to Kevin's point, like, we're getting into Walking Dead territory here with Terminator, where it's like no matter what we do, someone's going to get sent back and someone else is going to get sent back, and it's not going to stop the fate. So what is the point of this movie? Like, there are no stakes in this because we know no matter what, there's going to be a dystopian future and a leader will rise, except this time it's female instead of male, and that was the big deal in this. And like, okay, cool. And it was great, and the action was cool, but like, There was a moment with at the end of T2 where that great shot of the road where she's driving down and she's like, I don't know what the future holds. And that was so cool. But now we do. And it's like, there is no tension. There is no fun in inevitability. If we know how all this stuff's going to end, it's like, ugh, cool. Then it is just a dumb action movie that we're going for.
I've never agreed with that take. I've always I'm in the moment, enjoying the scenes and stuff. I've noticed you have that take on a lot of prequels where it's like, well, we know what happens, so I don't really care if he dies, or we know this person's not going to die. We know this. I've never really felt that way. I've always I've enjoyed these movies for what they are, and even knowing that, yes, there is something dark in the future. It doesn't matter what happens here because there's still going to be this apocalyptic sort of downfall and whatever. Like, I'm still enjoying the movie. Like, I don't think this movie. I think this movie served a purpose, and I enjoyed it. It
starts
was enjoyable for
a
me.
new whole thing, right? A timeline or whatever you want to call it, or new.
And is this the last
this
one?
This morning when
Maybe.
I was gathering Games Daily stuff, and they had GameSpot had an interview with James Cameron about is this the start of a new trilogy or whatever? And I was like, oh fuck, I hadn't even thought about that. I would totally watch more of these
They're
movies.
talking about
But would they?
I doubt it's gonna
What are they
happen.
going to do in the next trilogy? Is like, at
Well,
some point they're going to have
Judgment
to go
Day's
back
gonna
to the
have to
future,
happen.
sure.
Yeah.
But then we're just going to get what was it? What was the McG one that I just did? Salvation. We're just going to get that again, and it's going to be like, what the hell's happening? We're just stuck in this endless loop of nothingness. Are we ever going to see them beat the machines? Because they can't. Because if they beat the machines, then we don't have any more Terminators. And it's like
I also
don't
feel
know.
like
It just feels like a giant. Step
why
backward.
wouldn't they send multiple? Like, how much more difficult would this all be if there was two, the Rev 9?
Yeah.
Send
Send 18 Terminators back.
Send 10.
And kill
And,
everyone.
Same thing with when they
Start sending them back
sent
in
them
time all the time.
the
Resistance?
They continued to send them back. No, in this one, and Sarah was hunting them down. It's like, why not send them all at the same time? Also, why would you ever send the T-800 when you have the T-1000, which is a much better killing machine?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it's just all these questions that it opens up for me makes it a weaker movie, and I think it hurts the series. One more thing that I want to know.
Why not build 4 Death Stars?
I know they were building 2 though.
7 of them. Make it 7.
That's expensive.
Yeah, you got to think about the cost.
Nah,
What, do we have that much money?
fine.
I
They can
think
do it
that
all.
What, Orange County?
the visuals of the action scenes were hurt in that I feel like we've just watched Gemini Man, and the 120 is so good, and everything is so clear. And going back and seeing this in the IMAX theater where it's so big and your focus is kind of split up, and watching the motions and stuff, it just kind of seems choppier.
Well, it also has the Tim Miller factor of this. The
Yeah,
fight scenes
there's a lot
look
of-
like Deadpool a lot. Where
Right,
it's
right,
it
right,
looks like
like
Colossus
rag
is fighting
body
a lot of
kinda
the time,
thing.
and it just isn't quite there. But I feel like the choreography is so fucking strong, and the editing is so strong in the action scenes, and they last long enough to let cool things happen, but it's not too long where it's just oh, fucking move on. And I feel like there's 2 or 3 stretches of 7 minutes in this movie that are just super fun to watch, and you care about what's happening, even if I don't really give a shit about the story overall or whatever. It's I care about the characters doing what they're doing.
Someone in the chat was like, well, the T-1000 was a prototype. Yeah, a prototype that was clearly successful.
Really good.
Yeah.
Prototype,
He was the
yeah.
only one they sent off. They didn't keep the records.
Yeah.
They were expecting him
Right,
to
exactly,
kill John
yeah.
Connor and then freeze himself, and then they'd wait and
No,
then thaw him
no,
out.
he'd start a family and kind of learn.
Well, he wasn't a learning computer.
Such a,
That's why he
God.
can never smile. Unlike the
I-
Rev 9 being like, "Hey y'all," and I was like, "I fucking love this guy.
Oh,
Fuck him.
this guy.
Fuck him up,
Yeah.
Rev 9."
Someone,
I
someone
did like-
saw
We're gonna
there's a
chopper.
meme going around that's why is the new Terminator an Office Max manager? It's that's hella
so
funny.
funny.
What's funny is I like to think that social media is something that the AI incorporated, so it knows how to interact with people
Totally.
through that.
He just reminds me of
But he wasn't an asshole though.
I don't know if he was from Texas or not because this this movie took place in a lot of Laredo and stuff. But I swear I've met this guy a million times in my life. He's just every kind of your uncle's friend or your
Yeah,
your
yeah.
cousin's boyfriend or
Yeah.
the guy she's about to marry.
The cousin's boyfriend is
he's
I
just
think,
always
perfect.
very he's super chummy, but he's a
Yeah.
good dude. He's kind of got a Western accent, even though he's Latino. And I thought I thought he was awesome. I
liked
liked
him
his
a lot,
acting a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the plot.
Greg will save the plot. Greg will save the plot. Save or say?
Yeah, what they
Why
say.
you
forgot my
lyric?
Greg will say.
I forgot the words.
Say the plot.
So it starts.
Yeah, it does.
And it just fucking's right there. It's Linda Hamilton. It's Terminator 2
So
on
good.
August 29th, 1997. It's gonna feel pretty fucking real to you too.
I like the line where she's like this.
such
She's
a
like,
good-
unless everyone's wearing 50,000 sunblock or whatever.
If you're
it's
not
gonna be
wearing
from-
2 million sunblock,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a bad day. She's fucking out there crushing it like she did in T2.
That's a great
What-
scene.
Getting you hyped for
I
this
was like,
one.
I'm hyped
Dark
for
Fate,
this.
let's go.
What a cool way to like show the logos.
Yeah.
Where it
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
gets
yeah.
you right back
Right.
into it, and
Totally.
you're like, whoa, this is incredible.
So yeah, logos happen, that happens, and then we get like we're on the beach, Terminators start coming out, and this is the first moment where I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. I'm like, how does this CG look worse than Terminator 2 did, however many years ago that was? And then they all fade away, and it's like, Judgment Day didn't happen. We're out here, we're in Mexico, we're sitting there, it's a year after what Judgment Day should have been. Linda Hamilton's there, still just, they were like, we nailed our outfits in T2 in like with the 90s, we're
This
not
was the
changing.
thing. I was like, do they only drop the T100 by biker bars? Like, does he ever get to wear something else? Like,
This is
imagine
what
if they
blends in.
dropped it. If I were doing it, I'd drop him by a Tommy Bahamas. You know what I mean? Just like, let him wear a fucking floral
They don't
shirt.
know where they're gonna drop, as we'll see later. It
Stopping
doesn't
by
matter.
a Barney's.
Because that's the thing now. Because I'll tell you what, these Dark Fate Terminator, like the Legion, when they're sending people back, they don't know what
They
the
don't know
fuck.
what the
They
fuck
should have
they're
talked to
doing, yeah.
Skynet. People are falling out of the sky. We're eating through bridges. Like, come on, guys. You know what I mean? We had this figured out when
Pick
we
your
were.
targeting a little bit
It
better.
doesn't
You know what
matter.
I mean?
We're sitting there. It's a nice thing, and John Connor's at the bar getting himself a soda, hitting on a girl in
love
Spanish.
it.
That's the language. And Sarah's there looking like it's a year after Judgment Day should have happened. We are sitting pretty. Everything is great. John Connor turns around, and what does he see? A Terminator walk at him. And now you were saying how good the effects looked. I think they look good.
Here's the thing:
Please.
Yeah.
John Connor, Linda Hamilton.
They look great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Fucking
Incredible.
phenomenal to the
Schwarzenegger's
point that I'm like,
What
is
the
this
fuck
old
happened with
footage?
Schwarzenegger?
Like, this looks so good. And then Schwarzenegger, I'm like, why are you look worse than Genesis?
When it came out, that was my thing. When it walked up, I was like, oh, they sent back a different Terminator. Like, it's a Terminator that isn't supposed to be Schwarzenegger. Like, I looked at it, I was like, oh, I get that it's a Terminator.
It's a different
whatever.
model.
He
Yeah.
looked like
102.
a Terminator in a we just saw in like a Blizzard CGI trailer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where like when they showed Linda Hamilton, I was legitimately confused, and I was like, the same with Tim. I was like, is this old footage?
Yeah, how could they do
And
this?
then when they cut to John Connor, I was like, oh my god, she was CG and so is he.
Yeah.
This is fucking incredible. And then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bulky fucking Schwarzenegger with like muscles on his face and
Yeah,
shit.
I was like, that doesn't look
I was like,
right.
oh okay, this is where the real or the my.
But it doesn't matter because it's still
the veil
fucking
has
dope.
been
And he
pulled,
pulls
you
out
know?
a shotgun, and Sarah goes, no. And John's looking at him because he's like, you're the Terminator? You're my friend, Terminator?
Are you my friend? Or
Did
you
you
my
get
non-friend?
unburned? Yeah, like this fucking guy. You know, this is what happens when you go soft. When you think you beat Judgment Day, you sit around hitting on senoritas all day long. You're not out like a fucking Terminator's there. John, you melted one. Run. Stop getting your hair cut on that weird sideways thing and get out there and do it.
There's no way that like Sarah Connor went like, okay, let's have a normal life. Let's like.
Well, it's not a normal life, right? They're just at a bar in Mexico.
But then how the hell did this goddamn Terminator find them? This is like the 80s, right?
No, 90s.
Okay, this
But
still the
still,
90s.
they're on the run.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm trying
who's got like they don't have cell phones. They're on the run using secret identities. The last time it was because he was in the yellow pages
Yeah.
that they were able to find him, and it was the T-1000 who's seemed always to me to be somewhat smarter.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just think that it's
What,
like
you think they're going
oh,
to be eating
he
in a bunker
found
every
them.
day?
Huh?
You're going to be eating in eating in a bunker
No,
every
I just
day?
think that you're not going to find me in Mexico in the 90s if I changed my name.
Well,
You know?
I mean, who knows how
He's
long
a
that thing's
learning
been
computer. Yeah,
looking,
it's-
you know?
I don't
He's a
buy it.
learning
I don't buy it.
Sure.
We don't know if he just appeared there, right? That he could have been looking for like 2-3 years by now.
Well, we
Yeah,
assume
yeah.
they have, right? Because we assume
Yeah.
they sent them all
that's
back
what
at
I'm saying.
the same
Like
time.
I always assumed that Sarah Connor would have continued to be Sarah Connor and like moving him around and being like, hey, we don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna fucking prep like it is gonna happen. You know? Anyways. just thought that was
I
a
think you
weakness
have to
in the
have
movie.
moments of respite, and I think even if you're moving, the Terminator doesn't sleep. It's gonna keep
Yeah, I didn't
keep
question
their
this at all.
clues. Yeah,
Makes
I think it
sense.
would have found you no problem. Walks in there, fucking shoots him dead right on the ground. Fucking awesome. Sarah grabs her gun, she shoots him in the back a bunch, bing, 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 and he just fucking knocks her down. And then, does he put one more in John? I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
On
And
the
then he just
ground.
drops the fucking shotgun and walks off. And I was like, fucking yes.
Let's
And here's
go.
where I think why I like this movie a lot too. I, of course, am a real Terminator fan. And when me and my stupid friends were obsessed, we'd read comic books about the Terminator, right? And this whole movie
sure
strikes
those are
me.
canon.
Oh, they're awful too. This one strikes me as such a comic book thing of like, here's this side story, here's this thing, here's how we're doing it. And I just love the fact that we have to finally see what a Terminator would do if it did its mission. Fucking did it. I'm done. Peace. Just walks out of the like, and then he's just
And they
like,
had a board. They had a board with darts, and they were like, "What should the Terminator do? Go to a bunker and just stay in stasis until the future happens, and then join the war,
100% what it would do.
or go into the drapery business and just bring light
can't.
and
He's a
darkness
learning
to people's
computer.
house. What the fuck?
Forget everything you know. He's a learning
Forget
computer.
everything
Forget
you know
everything
about
you know.
Terminator.
So bad.
I want him to go a pina colada, please. Like and just order from the bar.
I've been looking for a long time.
So yeah, Sarah runs over there and John's dead, and she's like, oh no, and she's crying on him, and he's fucking dead, and there's blood there. It's like you're like, this is fucking awesome. I love this so much. Then we jump to modern day. All right, cool. I think it's still Mexico, right? We're in Mexico, and then what's happening? We got Danny, and she's showing up, and she's bringing her brother and her dad and this dog. Great looking breakfast
Taquito.
tortas. Come on,
She's
man.
a natural born leader.
Fuck me up with these sandwiches. This
Can we get
shit
some
looks
tortas
great.
today?
Let's go, dude. I'll eat it.
And she gives it to her dad, and she's like, the salsa's really good. They're like, with all due respect, I assume this is from the local place around the corner. This is where I get pissed, all right? This is the kind of shit that takes me out of the movie, all right?
it's
You
annoying.
Real
clearly
Terminator
have
fan.
lived in this
You've never had the
apartment
salsa before?
forever. Your dad's never had the salsa?
Wait, does your dad not ever go
My
out
kid
of the
brings
house?
me fucking wings and is like the hot sauce. You're like, I'm like, shut the fuck up, get me another beer. I'll throw the bottle at you.
Swallow this bottle cap, kid.
You
You'll
fucking
shit out in 2
don't
weeks.
know anything. And it's like, cool. Guess what? Her brother, he's working on his social media. He wants to be a singer. He's got a bunch of likes on his photos.
He's gonna be the
right?
next Bruno Mars, man.
He is going to
I
be the next
believe in
Bruno
him.
Mars. Pronto.
I like this back and forth. It's
Adorable. What a nice little family here.
I was just like, I can't wait till this kid dies.
God, you're such a
He's
fucking
for sure
black
gonna
hole of
die.
hate.
I think
You know
when
what I mean?
think when he dies,
They killed
like,
my boy, you know?
because they set up this scene so well. I thought they set it up pretty well.
Sure.
Where
You know
we
how
immediate-
family is important.
We immediately know their relationship. They're not fucking, right? They are in fact brother and sister. Although 20 years,
20 years.
yeah.
They are.
No, but you do kind of like already
rule.
sort of care for this dynamic, right? And then so when he eventually does die, it's like, oh
Well,
fuck,
that is a
they.
plot,
bummer.
Yeah, it's not, he wasn't just some random dude that I didn't give a shit about, you know, like
yeah.
in fucking Prometheus when everybody in the ship dies and you're like, I don't even know who those people were. I didn't,
You're like, who are those two guys? How long have they been on the ship for that?
So while all that was happening, probably before it actually, who gives a shit? We're it's nighttime and we're on a highway and like electricity starts coming, but now it's got ice because this is like again, it's 2019, guys, and it's Legion's up there, and Legion's like
Different
we
time
figured
travel
out
technology.
we figured out time travel's better
But let's still just
frozen,
send one.
but we can't figure out how to put people in places that'll just be inconspicuous and not drop them from the sky.
bunch
So-
of ice, global warming, what
Exactly.
a fraud, you know what I mean?
happens? It's all
What a
cracking in the
sham.
ice. It eats through the floor of the old bridge there, yeah. And then poof, Grace comes in and she's naked and she falls and she goes goong doong doong and she hits all the pipes. And there was
falls
this
so
this
far.
couple over there. They were making out. They were having fun. You know what I mean? And they saw it like having whoa, and then they run over there and like whoa, there's a naked woman over here. And they're like, let's help her get her back. And she's really heavy. Why is she so heavy? We don't know yet, but we know that she's got fucking like chicken wire under her skin. Neato. And they carried her back to the they lead her back to the car and they're like, what's up, naked lady? She's like, I can't see. I got fingers.
She
and we're
looks
looking
kind of
through
like
the fingers.
Deadpool from the bad Deadpool movie. You know, the one from Wolverine
Oh.
Origins, where she's got the lines all over her.
Oh yeah,
like,
no,
yeah.
I was like,
good
oh,
pull,
okay.
good pull. Good pull.
I thought to myself after all this, I was like, what? In an alternate universe, Mackenzie Davis was Captain Marvel.
Oh, that would have
You know
been
what I mean?
awesome.
Right?
That would have been
You
great.
picture that?
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
could
like Brie
definitely
Larson,
picture
but Mackenzie
Yeah,
Davis is
Mackenzie
cool.
Davis is.
She's cool.
badass.
She's real cool. She's cool in this movie.
Halt and Catch Fire. She's great.
In that one episode of Black Mirror. So then the cops roll up and they're like, whoa, I love it when it rains naked women from the sky. And I was like, that's a funny line. Because they don't believe these two people. You know what I mean? What are you, robbing this person? You steal their clothes? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
And they're like, they're talking to her in Spanish, like, you okay, miss? And all these other Spanish words. And she's looking at him and finally her eyes focus. And she's like, boing. She got like Terminator vision, but it's like cool Terminator vision from like 2019. And she's like, boing, gun. So she grabs a gun. She fucks up all the cops. She's throwing people around. Right?
For no reason, just mean.
Well, I mean, she's scared.
Poor cops like,
she's naked
what
and
the
afraid.
fuck? We're just doing our
confused.
job.
She's
Yeah,
confused.
yeah, exactly. So she fucks all them
all
up,
dead
and the guy and the girl are like, man, great job, thanks so much. We don't like cops either. Like we're weirdos. And she walks over and she's like, she does this awesome walk up to him and then like puts her leg between his legs and puts her foot next
What
to
was
his
the
foot,
point of that?
Checking
Like,
his
I was-
sizing
boot.
his foot. So she takes his clothes. Give me your
she's like,
clothes, your
"Don't
boots,
thank
and your
me yet."
motorcycle. Some Terminator fan he is.
Yeah,
Guess we
big
can really
fan.
trust this impression. You know what I mean?
Do
Oh my
you understand that?
god.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Because she's like, don't thank me yet.
What this
Turns
Turns
movie-
out your
clothes.
beard was where you kept your knowledge of movies.
No, Samson.
I
no.
know. I noticed that through a lot of this movie, where when you think you're going to hear the catchphrase, they do a
Yeah, it's
they
the
do
necessary twist of like, we're not doing that. Like when they teleport people in, or and both of them drop down
Don't spoil
instead
it.
of just
Oh,
being in that.
I didn't see that as
Legion's not
nitpicky
good.
as fuck.
You know,
No,
Legion's
you're talking
good.
about when she runs up to her and she goes, "If you don't come with me in the next 30 seconds, you're gonna die."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
instead
like,
of
why
come
don't
with
you
you
say,
wanna
"Come
live."
with me if you want to live"?
Yeah,
Because they,
Yeah, we
I mean,
get it. You want to be
here's
different.
the thing.
To
Yeah,
be different.
they want to be different because they can't do the same thing the last 3 other Terminator films have done. Like, there's so many great things that should have happened in this flick that can't happen in this. Imagine where those didn't happen. You'd have those moments here, and they'd be awesome.
Where he walks out with a coffin.
No, here's the two.
T2 did the same thing to Terminator though, so it's like I think it's fine.
The one thing
Did
that
it?
I think
No, but
I think
not
you
the
would
same
have
lines
without the
again.
other
Yeah.
movies. Without the other movies, I think we would have had Silverman. Well, it's not Silverman, but it's with the B in there. I can't remember.
Silverman. The
It's
doctor?
not Silverman. It's
Silverman?
Silverman.
The
Yeah.
Doctor.
The Doctor. He would have been in this one if he hadn't been trapped in Terminator 3 already. And then the big one that I know in my heart of hearts would have happened, and it would have been fucking awesome because I was hoping against hope they would do it, and they didn't. But when
Robert Patrick is a carpenter?
when they're looking back at the very end,
He's
when
like,
they're
"I just
looking
want to
back
lay
at the
carpet,
very
man, I
end,
love it."
when they're looking back at the very end through the at Grace, young Grace, right? That's her name, with her family or whatever. I so wanted the dad to turn and it to be Michael Biehn. And her be Grace Reese, because we never heard her last name, and I was like, that would have been fucking awesome if the shitty one with fucking Amelia Clark didn't have her show up
Genesis.
at baby Kyle Reese's house.
And then Neil Patrick Harris walks out.
Have you guys seen my dad? He was a cop. Anyways, she steals the clothes. She takes off. Then we're going back to daytime. Danny and her brother, they go to work. Yay, everybody goes to work. And then while they've left and they go to work with their sandwiches and lunches that are very important to the plot. Yeah, here we go. Legion's just bombing people into the middle of the fucking sky and clotheslines. Poof, another Terminator falls.
And that drop looks cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. He
Also,
doesn't get fucked up at all.
I think it was so cool about this was a touch where the clothes freeze, and as they drop to the ground, they shatter.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's fucking rad.
Yeah. And so there's one woman out there who's hanging up her clothes.
And he's just cool.
And he walks
suave
over and he
nice.
smiles. He's like, I'm naked. How you doing? Touches the clothes she has, and he just puts on this dope
Do
little
you think
flannel.
after he walked away,
Dick's
it's
still
like
out,
a
though.
second, and then he walked
double
back.
ducking
Like,
it.
he just stabbed your face.
I don't think so. He didn't seem. Well, no, that's a lie.
Because he
I guess.
kills the dad, and you're like, why?
Well,
Why did he
according
kill
to that was my thing when I was like, that's
a throwaway line.
The
He's
cop,
like, he kills
or
everything
the
he
dad's
meets.
probably dead. Yeah, sure. But there's a couple other times where he does doesn't just kill everybody in the
Do you
room.
think that-
Then he does kill everybody in the room. You know, he's a Terminator. He's a learning computer. We don't know.
Really?
Computer.
I don't think the dad's dead. I could see him because he went talked to the dad. We saw the interaction.
They just had one throwaway line where she's like, I got to go tell my dad to bury
Yeah,
his
yeah.
brother.
Your
And
dad's
Mackenzie Davis is like, he's dead.
But like she never confirmed that. You know.
The dad's
I-
like, what the fuck's
The
going
thing
on?
about
Yeah,
it, the thing about
the
it, the
uncle
thing
maybe
about
knew.
it, the thing about it
What thing?
is that it is that she said if he takes their form, he killed them.
Yeah, what does he fucking know? It's a different.
No, she said if he touches them, he killed them. Or if he
he
touches
takes-
them,
he
he
takes
takes
their
their
form.
form. So like some physical, but it could have just been like a "What's up, man?"
Hey,
and then I'll take
where's
your
your
form.
daughter?
Do you think the
Where's your
dad?
daughter?
Do you think the dad starved to death because no one brought him food?
You're right,
in the
Greg.
morning?
He could have jerked him off.
Shut up.
Also a great touch.
I'll
Yeah.
tell
So
you
when he
who
goes
sang
up
it.
there and he's like, hey, "Where's Daniela?" I'm one of her friends. They all call her Danny. He's like, "Oh, you fucker, you got me." You know what I mean? I like the dog barking in the background too.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
was
"All right,
cool.
fuck,
Very
Terminator's
cool.
barking."
Little reference.
Yeah, it was great.
That's fine.
So, now we're over at the old canning facility where they're making cars or whatever, and sure enough, sure as shit, what's his name? Danny's brother walks over there and he's like, "Fuck, there's a robot doing my job. That's fucked up." And they're like, "Well, go talk to the manager." And Danny's like, "I'll talk to the manager." And it was like,
my spot.
Yeah, that's why. Why?
Lets her head
I actually like this touch. It wasn't like it wasn't ham-fisted. It wasn't heavy-handed. They were just like he walks over. He's like, "Oh, there's a robot doing my job,"
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I thought was a nice meta
It's
commentary
great,
on
man.
what's
I
happening
think
right
the
now.
direction in this movie is fantastic.
Yeah, with like the new threat or like
Yeah.
how this new thing's gonna happen. So she goes over there and she's like, "Hey, give me." These robots are coming. She's like, "What about all the robots?" And we see her leadership here. You don't know it at the time, right? You don't know. Maybe you've bought into the lies that she's gonna have a kid. You don't understand. She's a leader here, as we see, right? On the outside, though, Grace has showed up. She, I think, knocks a guy out, right, and then puts, how's the game? God, knocks him out, puts on
Fuck it,
security
she
outfit.
just kills a lot of people the first 5 minutes of this. That guy's dead.
Hey man, she's a
That guy's
soldier.
skull is cracked.
She got a
into the
job.
fucking
She's got a
front
job
lobe.
to do.
Exactly.
You know?
You know
But like the amount of times they're like, all right, Grace's special move is going to be slamming people's heads into brick walls.
Yes, they needed to be
Could have
told.
put him to sleep or something.
Sleeper holder.
Do you have time for that, Andy? Have you ever had a bloodthirsty Terminator that's really kind of two Terminators in one coming at you?
No, but I've had Nick walk up to me several times from behind in a kitten suit, in a cat suit, and ringing the
God.
bell.
It
And
scares
it's just
you
scary.
every time.
It's just as
That's
scary.
fair.
It's terrifying.
Meanwhile, then Danny and the brother's dad shows up, and they're like, "Yo, dude, your dad's here." And hey, Dad, why are you here? And he's like, "Oh, Danny forgot your lunches." And he's like, "No, there's lunches right there." And he's like, "Well, where is Danny?" You know what I mean? And she's like, "Oh, she's up there doing the dirty work because she's a leader for me." You know what I mean?
Why did they leave their lunches just right next to where they were working? You don't think they have little lockers?
No, God,
Definitely
that place
not.
looks like a
That's
sweatshop for
where the robots
automobiles.
are
You know what I
stored.
mean?
That's just what
And nothing
automobile
makes
places
a
look like.
lunchtime torta taste better than the paint in the air of an
God, I
auto
want a
facility.
torta so bad.
God, let's get some tortas today, guys.
Even
Are you kidding?
through all of
Let's
this,
get some
where
tortas.
fake dad, which is the
Terminator Dad.
what's his name?
Rev 9.
Rev 9. Even in this part, like I'm already feeling the tension. I'm
Oh,
already
yeah.
feeling like, oh, fuck.
Well, it's because it's that great
He's
thing of
here.
like how easily he's infiltrated.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
gotten he's already right there, right?
This is the beginning of the amazing action.
Exactly. And this is where Danny walks in, right? And Dad's like, "Now I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm turning my hands into knives, right?" And they're like, "What, Dad? Did your fucking hands just turn?" And they're like, "What's going on?"
Didn't he turn into a
Oh, gun. Yeah, right. Yeah,
he
gun.
starts shooting.
Still though, shit. Your hand. Why you turning this? And then that's when Grace runs in with a shotgun, right? And she's like, "Bah, bah, bah," and she's
Fucks
shooting.
and he
up.
freaks out
Yeah,
like
yeah.
her dad just got shot.
Idiot.
It was clearly a robot. His hand turned into a gun.
And then here in the opening moments, you know how I am with action. It's like, no, I'm like, cool, they're fighting. That's neat. But something that stood out to me that I was like, I'm making a mental note. When they fucking throw Rev 9 into the wall and he goes down, but then he gets up all spidery and weird. I was like, fuck yeah, Rev 9.
Dude, it's cool. They make so many like subtle choices that I feel made the scene special that otherwise just would have just been another action scene. But he doesn't. People expect the weird spidery thing to come up like in a weird way. He just comes up the normal way. They just made him. You believe
Mechanical.
in his weird mechanical way where
Yeah,
it's
like a
like
robot.
instead of it having it be like fucking grudge like or like the Ring, it's not that. It's robotic.
No, it's
Very
like it's
cool.
like one of those robots that Kevin like shows us on the morning
Boston
shows.
Dynamics
those
stuff.
fucking terrifying things that like they're like, don't make them stand like that, and they won't be as scary.
Yeah,
you know,
but they do.
the most effective way to stand.
It's terrifying. Kevin's a
So then
robot.
the fight scene, and then we're popping off. We're fighting in here,
Popping off,
right?
man.
And we're shooting shit, and we're throwing shit, and people are getting thrown around and stuff. And I'm already a martini deep, and I'm about to be a beer and a half deep, and I'm just having a great time. I'm just fucking people. There's lights
Hey,
and
Greg, what
colors.
happens at the end of this movie?
Oh, dude, you waiting for it? You waiting for it? All right. I'll tell you what happens. Don't worry about it.
I vomited over everybody in the front row.
It's crazy that it ended with them getting on a plane.
They just flew away. I woke up and I blinked when the credits were rolling.
It's wild. Good for them.
Never
They
saw
got away.
Arnold. Weird. No,
Carl
so
has a new family.
they fight a bunch there. They brawl out into the road. I mean, this is where I usually let you guys fill in the gaps on your action because you like it so much
Yeah,
more. than me.
he comes in with like a badass like Tonka truck, right? Like busts through the wall,
Well,
and they're
before
going.
when they're leaving, and when they're
before
leaving,
that-
and her like senses are like, oh fuck, and like,
Well, before that, we get the cool what was it? Just gun versus hammer fight.
oh yeah,
Which,
yeah, that was
like,
great when she grabs the sledge.
what's her name?
Mackenzie Davis.
Mackenzie Davis.
She
The
does
way
great.
she like has control of that damn hammer looks cool. The way it's shot, those action scenes are dope.
Yeah,
But
like you
eventually,
could feel the
he
weight.
like absorbs the hammer, right?
You could feel the
It's
weight
like,
of
what
every
the fuck
hit.
is that?
I appreciate this because the elevation of action is so good where it's like hand to hand, we're getting some gun stuff, we're getting the chase scene, and all of it felt like it was going into each other
Yeah, good
at
progression.
a good pace where
Yeah.
it wasn't kind of just like action for action's sake. Like it felt like I believed in what they were doing.
My only gripe with the design of this thing is that I feel like we said it before, but I'll say it again. It does feel like a massive step backward from the T1000. Where like it's got that metal component to it, so you can knock it around, and it has to separate in order for it to not have that. And like the T1000 was that thing would just got right through the head, and it would have been like, "What are you gonna do now?" You know what I mean? Like that's it. They had to
Although-
like
You guys,
He did
this
step
is
it
what I'm
backwards.
talking about with
Wait,
these Terminator fans. Well, they should send back 2. They send back 2 and 1, and that's just not good enough for you guys anymore. You know what I
it's
mean?
like a bad Oreo cookie. That just
It's like
one
when you
of the
take your
edges just falls
AirPods
off.
out of the thing, right? Like they're 2 now, but like the skin has to go back to charge via solar or whatever
There was
the
just,
fuck the
there was just that
doing.
great moment in
What
T2
is
where
he
he punches
talking
the head,
Yeah.
and then the head turns into the hand, and
Yeah,
he throws him
yeah,
around.
so cool.
That was cool. Like we got, it was fun to play around with this with one, and later when we're gonna see it when it does separate, and you see that the other Terminator has no skull.
Yeah.
I was like, that is fucking terrifying.
One
and
of the
freaky.
things that I really do like that we kind of see later in the fight that the Rev 9 does is he's constantly shooting spikes out of his body randomly. And I just think like that's a cool mechanic that the T1000 like didn't really do.
Reminds me of the X-Men Days of Future Past. The
Porcupine Kid.
What are they called? Like the
Blowfish.
what are the
Oh,
bad guys
Sentinels,
called? The
Sentinels,
Yeah, they
yeah.
reminded me of the Sentinels.
Where they're like
I thought you were
adapting and
talking
doing
about-
Yeah,
different stuff.
shape shifting and shit. But
Kid Omega.
I'm mostly excited we got this design of the Rev 9 because we were able to see sort of today's version of what that exoskeleton would look like, and just from somebody who loves like fucking design and like futuristic shit, like that tech looks so bad. Like that dark alloy sort of look looks so badass.
And I do like that as a nice touch. Like instead of it being like that metallic metal that when it goes into when it melts, it's like a oil.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
really
fucking
black
cool.
oil.
And then when they get
It's a
into
fun
the
comp.
cars, like I just love the choice of cars they even gave him. Like having them be in the pickup truck, it made you worry for them in a different way, where they felt more exposed. And I liked the progression of like the wheels popping, and you see how that affects the way that they
Driving,
can turn and stuff
It
in a way
also-
that's not just like the generic like, oh, there goes a wheel, there goes a wheel.
blew
It's
out a
like,
tire and they flip.
blew out a tire, and it flips in ways, or like they drift in ways that move the course of the action.
When
And
she
them
was trying to
getting
reverse
chased
up
down
the
in that
on-ramp.
fucking truck, it's like you believe that thing's fucking up everybody, and I love that it's just careening through cars and they're just like flipping around.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
she's throwing those
cool.
fucking metal rods at him into the truck,
the
that
rebar.
was so cool.
That was awesome. That whole
Yeah.
scene was great. Yeah, and it was I like it was flashes of when we were talking in Terminator 2, right, where Arnold jumped off and ran up the back of the thing and just shot into T-1000. Or
Yeah.
whatever. I like that, except obviously this one with then the liquid metal skin coming off right and coming out and be like, oh, this thing can do two things.
That was cool shit. Like that sort of. Had we seen that reveal yet? I
It was in
know.
the trailer.
It was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was
guess I
cooler
don't.
in the movie.
I don't remember that part in the trailer at all. I guess I didn't really watch trailers a whole lot, but yeah, that scene of it forming and then being in the front of the truck, I was like, oh my god,
Do you think
this is a whole different sort of thing?
Do you think
here.
at one point they were like, we want this thing to be able to cut into two Terminators, and they were just playing around with liquid metal, but it would cut into two smaller Terminators? Do you think they ever thought about that?
It's like four little tiny guys.
By the end of it, there's just 100 little tiny
gnome-like guys running around like, this is not imposing.
So yeah, they're running and he's throwing the rebar and they're getting knocked around. And they finally get knocked into like the thing, and her brother gets stabbed with the thing, and he's sitting there and he's like, I'm stabbed with the thing, and she's like, help! And Grace's like, I cannot move him, he will bleed out. And then she looks over her shoulder and it's like, it's fucking Dunzo anyway. And she's like, nah, I won't leave him. This is Danny, nah, I won't leave him. And Danny's brother's like, nah, leave me. And so they do it's all explosions and
exactly.
shit.
It's
you
the
know
cool,
what I mean?
like she gives Danny a cool like a hug and says sorry, and then jumps out and pulls her with her.
Yeah.
That was a cool like little transition. and
Right,
movement.
yeah, exactly. But you think it's over, brother? It ain't fucking over. You
Hell
got a
no,
Rev
bro.
9 coming at you, right?
Hell
And
yeah,
so you got
brother.
the exoskeleton, brother, man. And then over there, you got the liquid metal fucking
Yeah,
guy.
brother.
And then a great fucking moment that I loved where Grace looks back at Danny, right? And she's like, all right, while they're killing me, you run.
Yeah,
you know what I
that
mean?
was
Like
a
when
good line.
they're fucking killing me, like this is it for me. I can't take them out like this, but you got to do it. And then who rolls up, motherfuckers? Linda goddamn Hamilton.
I love her so much. Her entire character is just the most corny. Like, all right, what should we write her as? Let's just make her
80s action movie still.
80s action movie, and she commits so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I was telling Andy yesterday, she's not good. She's great. I fucking love her
Love
in this
it,
movie. Every
yes.
single thing she does or says
Gets out of that
is
shotgun
over the top
with the
and
jump.
unnecessary.
She's like, I'm a learning computer too, and I remember doing this shit, and that sucked.
Fuck
I
that,
hated
fuck that.
jacking off the fucking shotgun, not having enough shells. So now I got a hula hoop full of shotgun shells. Bah bah bah, fucks that thing up. It goes over there.
I love the animation and the momentum of it. Where I mean, it may not have been. It may have just been motion
Him running,
capture or
yeah,
whatever.
when he's
But
running.
I just love the look, like him getting shot progressively and getting
Pushed
knocked
over.
back
Yeah,
further
yeah,
and
yeah.
further. It was just such a cool like these things are impacting him, even though he's gonna be fine. It's still cool to look
Yeah, it's
at.
fucking up his
good eye
his
candy.
stride.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think she killed the other ones though? Because I feel like the gun she used here, even this gun wasn't enough to take out the T-100, let alone this Rev 9 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? She's like, I've been killing these things for 15 years. Like, how?
I think that the automatic shotgun she was used is just to knock him down, and then the next was the grenade launcher.
So she
had, like, a
grenades
rock-
him?
Yeah, I think she grenades
But
him.
we know that doesn't kill him.
Do we?
Yeah, well,
No one
I think
no one
it knocked
grenaded
him the
a
fuck
lot.
out, and she was on her way down to like do something, but she doesn't do it, so we don't see.
I
But
don't
also remember these Rev 9s she had never seen before.
exactly. I think
Where
this
she
is her
was
first
prepared
time
for
running
two.
into Legion. I think she was still cleaning up
Oh, okay.
people,
Skynet stuff.
Skynet people that were
What
coming
was
through.
what was the line she said? I won't be back.
No, she said I'll be back. She just said it casually. She's like, I'll be back.
Yeah.
It's later
okay.
that they
Terrible.
It's
Like-
Arnold.
Yeah.
has
Yeah, I
a
won't be back.
lip
Yeah.
on it. I fucking love. I think it's
I
great.
hate that.
I don't know
Yeah.
how you can say this is terrible. It's
It's-
so.
I thought it was
perfect.
stupid. It
It's
was
just
dumb.
that they had one of two ways they could have gone with this movie. They could have gone like tongue in cheeky, kind of like let's do some fan service and have some fun with it, or they could have tried to make a legit sequel to T3 or to T2, and they were just like let's have some fun with it. And I get it. Look, the other way would have been probably impossible. So they a lot of the stuff in here you're like cool. It's a fun, more silly take on what these characters could have done, but her character was like borderline, almost turned to the camera like winking
Loved
at
it.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they didn't give a
it's
shit.
almost
I mean,
not the
yeah,
Sarah
like,
Connor.
I
character.
thought
Like,
she
when
was
gets
pretty
left
bad at
behind,
acting.
when she gets left behind and she's like, you know, and it was just saying that's exactly like it wouldn't have been crazy for her to look at the camera and be like, these kids. you know?
Mondays.
yeah.
Terminator 2 did it as well, guys.
Terminator
That's
2
the
did
thing.
have some
I
of those
I don't
moments
think
in
so.
it.
I don't
They
think so.
did. There was
When?
so many things where they just called back the same line. And they
Well,
just
no,
said
but
they-
yeah,
they
but
wouldn't
like,
even
it was
know the
cool,
line.
'cause
But
it
the
was
line
like-
stuff in Terminator 2
Yeah.
oftentimes was a role reversal, and that was why that was really fun. In this one, it's just the third time was not a charm. It did not work for me, and especially when we get to his line where he's like, "I won't be back," and it's like,
that one was
that
like-
supposed to be impactful to
Yeah.
us?
Character development for
Because A, they'll throw money at him, he'll get in shape again, he'll come back, and B, like what?
It won't be Carl
Wait,
though.
also, what character development is it? Like, this wasn't the one that said, I'll be back in the in
Yeah.
either of the last two
No,
movies.
I'm saying just for the Terminator, for this Terminator, not for the Terminator we know. The Carl stuff is my least favorite part of the
Yeah.
movie.
I just, so much of this movie reminds me of Jurassic World.
Yeah.
You know,
2.
from... No, I mean, honestly, one, where it's like, I know that a lot of people liked it, and it's just like, it's just not for me, and it's
That's
like...
that's a
kinda-
really good comparison.
I don't know that
I
it
don't
like
think it is
should
at
have
all.
happened.
I think Jurassic
Yeah.
World, like
This is
Jurassic World's a
better.
great comparison.
This
where
is better than Jurassic World was, in my opinion, as a movie. But it's still like so many of the things are like, I don't like where they took that. But like that's a personal thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's because you don't have your beard, like we talked about. So yeah, the grenade launcher, and then everybody's knocked down, and then rather than wait for Sarah Connor, they just jump in the fucking car and leave Sarah Connor, like you're saying. She's like, these fucking people. And
and
so
this is when Grace starts having the weird like
Grace
insulin-
starts crashing, and then
Yeah.
she's like, and Danny's like, "What is wrong with you?" And she's like, "I'm not built to do this all the time. I'm built for bursts of crazy stuff. I'm an augment. You all played Deus Ex. I'm a Deus Ex. Y'all saw it. I'm Deus Ex.
Yes,
This-
I am.
in my
You know Deus Ex. I've Googled it. You guys have it now.
in my timeline, this is a very successful video game. How did it play out? Not.
Whoa.
No.
My first name is Deus. My last name is X.
And so she starts crashing, and they get off of the road, and then they run. There's parked there, and like Danny's almost gonna go to the cops, and Grace is like, "Listen, you can't. You go to the cops, you are dead. I know you for some reason refuse to believe me that the machines that we've just seen are all fucking crazy."
You
And
think
then
all these cops can stop that thing? No, you're
you put
crazy.
100
put
cops
100.
in front of him, you have 100 dead cops. Like, that's a weird line,
Yeah,
but all
I
right.
like
go.
and then we see it later.
I mean,
You
no,
know,
I
she's like,
think
"Oh, you're
that,
right,
that
yeah."
line made sense for like the lesson she learned in the first one of like,
30
doesn't
cops,
matter.
not
Well,
enough.
yeah.
So then they're like, she's like, fine, I'll help, I'll drive on. They pull over, and I was like, oh, they're gonna just go eat at that hot dog cart. And no, instead they go to La Veterinarian. And I just for a second, if we can, they bust in there, right? And let's give a round of applause, everybody, to veterinarians, right? Because
Yeah.
think about it, you bring in a hamster, a cat, a dog,
Was
a
that
turtle. Everybody's like,
They're gonna
we
figure
got
it
it,
out.
we got it. I fucking go to the doctor. I'm like, my foot hurts. He's like, I'm an oncologist. I can't help. I'm like, doctor. You're a fucking doctor. You treat one species, all right?
These guys have to know them all. It's a great point.
I bring in Portillo or I bring in some subway rat.
Very similar.
They got
I
it.
do like that they're like, you need a prescription, and it, like, all right,
Yeah, she's like,
You
all right,
can
I'm
tell
done
what's
fucking around
happening,
here.
yeah.
Here's my gun. I didn't
Here's my-
just
here's
let
my
it.
prescription. Yeah,
She goes in there and starts taking all the stuff, and then comes back out, falls down, the gun gets loose, Danny gets the gun, now she's in. Before?
Yeah, and
She's-
then
she's
there
just, you know.
there is a good moment of like her being like, "Am I gonna let them take over the situation,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
am I gonna jump into this role and help this person
Right.
that's helping me
And so she's able to drag Danny's 400-pound ass out of there. 'Cause
Yeah.
all
with the help of
augments.
another dude?"
Right, yeah, exactly. The
Which I
other-
thought was random and like
Again, it
he
speaks,
definitely got fired,
to the
right?
quality of a veterinarian. That they are there to help any species.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. Andy goes in there and he's like, as a veterinarian, I know you're a veterinarian. My tongue just fell off. Can you help? They're going to be like, you know what? It's a lot like
humans
a
and animals too.
A lot like a mongoose.
I can help a California condor. I can't help you.
They drag her outside, and there she is, Sarah Connor, with a station wagon. Throwback, I believe. And I will continue to believe, to the cars they had in Terminator 2. And she's like, you fuckers trying to leave me, but you don't know what you're going to do. You're going to get killed. Get in the fucking car. And they get in the car and they start driving. And then Sarah Connor starts asking Danny questions. Danny doesn't have answers. They're trying to piece it all together. She needed all this stuff. They go to a flea bag motel. They toss her down there. They put ice all over Grace. Why didn't you put her in the bathtub? Have you seen the bathtub? Haha, I like that. And so they have a bunch of different medications and she's injecting her and stuff like this. This is going on for a while. This is where the exposition's happening of who's going on and what's happening.
Do we get a flashback scene too of like the future where Danny? No,
I thought we don't get that to the top of the railroad cars.
This is where a lot of Linda Hamilton's lines like fell flat for me. And maybe not just
Potato
the lines.
chips?
I think it was the delivery of the lines where
really like
just
potato
her
chips.
acting isn't super great. I thought the potato chips moment was cool. That was like one of the few moments.
The payoff to the potato chip moment was cool.
Yeah.
Because like when she said, I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that being right.
Again, the delivery of like, well, why wouldn't you put them whatever? And she's like, I like potato chips. Like, I don't know. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Linda, you know.
Well, yeah. I don't know if it's her as much as it's her trying to be Sarah, and I don't know.
Yeah,
This like
maybe.
broken Sarah who's still on the grind, right? Because we saw her in the beginning for a moment of happiness, whether it was that she was still on the run there and thought stuff might happen, or if it was in fact.
I feel like you guys are just bringing a lot of baggage of like the previous movies.
I know what he's doing.
Into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by Away.
You're
If you have
smart.
baggage, you can pack it as well. Away creates thoughtful products designed to change how you see the world. They started with the perfect suitcase crafted with features that make travel more seamless. Now, they offer a range of essentials that solve real-world travel problems. So all you have to think about is where you're headed next. Ain't that right, Greg?
That's right, Tim. Very excited to use my Away bag, mainly because it's got this charger back here that I like so much.
Yes, it does. I've been using Away for years now. Absolutely love it. It is sleek. It is sexy. It is cool. I'm always getting turned heads. People are just like, whoa, what is that? Heads turning left and right depending on where I am relative to them. But I love it. It's super easy to pack. There's a lot of fun little areas and zippers and packs things here and there in the bag that make packing more fun for me. And I'm not just saying that. I actually love this compared to the old ones I used to have. Ton of different colors you can get. You can get different sets, different sizes. They have backpacks. They have little dot bags. They have everything you could need to travel. TSA approved combination locks keep your belongings safe. There's an optional ejectable battery to keep your phone charged. There's the carry-on. There's the bigger carry-on. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. And there's also a removable laundry bag to separate dirty clothes from clean clothes.
Wow.
That has changed the way I travel.
They have a pink one.
They do. They have like every color. I think Joey has the pink one. There's
got the blue
white.
one.
I have the navy. Of course, I got the blue one.
There's two different blues. I think you may have the navy one,
I
but
want
there's a
navy.
blue that's like a
Powder blue.
slate sort of.
Sorry,
silver-
your services are no longer required. We've replaced you, Nick, with an Away bag, our sponsor.
For $20 off a suitcase, visit awaytravel.com/morning and use promo code morning during checkout. That's for $20 off a suitcase. Visit awaytravel.com/morning and use promo code morning during checkout.
Is this the bigger carry-on or the?
This is the small
This is
one.
the smaller,
This is the smaller one.
That's just the carry-on, yeah.
You have both, right?
Yes, I do. Also, shout out to Untuck It. The holidays are almost here, and you know what that means? Gifts. And what better gifts to give the guy in your life than a stylish shirt that fits just right? Most of the time, you get these dress shirts, and they're made to be tucked in, Kevin. You know what I
I
mean?
love tucking in my dress shirts, but
Yeah. But if you
doesn't look great.
when you untuck them.
Oh, it's all
For the
wrinkly.
vertically challenge. Challenge. Why did I say it like that?
Yeah.
They just go past my butt all the time.
Yeah,
They never
it's
look
too
good.
long. It's
Yeah.
too long.
Doesn't look
Untuck
good.
It is here to help you, Andy. Untuck It shirts always fall at just the right length, no matter the size, so you look casual and sharp. So many different options. They make it easy. You go to the site. You can it's shopping made easy. Shopping made for the dum-dums like us
got
sitting at
dope
this
flannels,
table.
too.
They do have dope flannels,
All about
Kevin.
that.
That is true. You can choose from styles like wrinkle-free button-down, super soft flannels like Kevin loves, outerwear, and more. With Untuck It, your shirts will never look baggy, bulgy, too long, or too big again. So whether you're shopping for the perfect holiday gift or just trying to craft a smart, relaxed style of your own, Untuck It is the way to go. Go to untuckit.com, use code MORNING for 20% off at checkout. That's untuckit.com and promo code MORNING for 20% off. Finally, shout out to Escape the Invasion. Have you ever wondered what you'd do if you found yourself in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world that has been ravished by a deadly virus inflicted by aliens, Andy?
I have wondered. Tim, tell me all about it.
Yeah. Well, now you can find out if you'd survive or not. There's this there's this craze out there in the streets called escape rooms. You can now bring it home, Andy. I know you don't like going outside, so now every
Gosh,
month
no.
you can do Escape the Invasion. They send you a box. There's a bunch of clues. You and your pals can figure out the mystery together. This is from the same people that did Hunt a Killer. Greg and Jen enjoyed that.
That's correct.
Yes.
We subscribe.
So now you get this box. It has the props. It has the clues. You can do the stuff. It's fun. Escape the Invasion is a great way to get off your phone and connect with friends. Or if you prefer a solo adventure, you can interact with the online community to swap theories and help others out. High-quality, handcrafted clues get you lost in the post-apocalyptic world and make you feel like humanity truly is in your hand. Right now, just for you guys, you can go to escapetheinvasion.com/morning for 20% off your first box. That's escapetheinvasion.com/morning for 20% off your first box. escapetheinvasion.com/morning. Can you survive the apocalypse? Dun 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 dun.
Can you dig it?
Sucker.
Oh, I was doing Shaq.
I was doing
Warrior.
Booker T because he's cool. Unlike Shaq, who's a fool. Now, real quick, before we move
my
on
friend.
from all the ads and everything, Kevin, how much closer was that bite to actually biting me than you wanted it to be?
No,
Because I grazed your lip. we were really close.
That was very well
me losing a
calculated.
digit and having to go to a vet because, again, they'll be there to fix me.
Yeah, no, they'll put it right
They'll
back
fucking
on.
fix
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
no time.
No. I got great control with my bites.
Anteaters have the same sort of metatarsals.
Exactly,
You're
exactly,
fine.
Metatarsals.
exactly. Good job. Good word. Good
It's
job.
on your
Good word.
feet, right?
Sure.
So all this exposition happens. We understand what's happening, right? We understand that she throws her phone out. That's how you get tracked. Mine's in a potato chip bag. We're getting this is the same conversation too about Skynet when Grace is up and running. What about Skynet? There's no Skynet. This thing called Legion went online. Oh fuck, Jesus. Okay. What about this? Why do they want me? They want you because you womb. They want your womb, Danny. You know what I mean? That's happening over there.
I'm a little disappointed with the Legion name, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Skynet was such a cool
cool.
thing. Like Cyberdyne Systems, all that stuff was just like,
Cyberdyne.
oh, that's a really cool name.
That's good. That's really
Legion,
good.
I feel like, has been used for the same
lot.
premise a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Legion
anytime
is
we
in
are,
Mass
like-
Effect.
We are.
Yeah, that was the other thing. With Legion.
Also, like Lenovo Legion, like HP Lenovo's gamer PC Legion.
Oh my
line.
God, they're the ones that do it.
Oh shit.
It's a gaming PC.
They're gonna
that goes
attack
to-
us with mechanical keyboards.
I just thought this was a missed opportunity.
It's gonna be Joey typing really loudly on mechanical.
Nick, what
keyboards.
would you have named it?
If
you can make up a new one.
Something really cool. Something like
Future
CloudNet,
Future Bot?
a cloud built
Cloud
robot
Net.
net.
What if it was
or
something
Microsoft.
like not cool at all?
It's just Microsoft
Skynet.
Google.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
it-
about? Skynet. Oh, are you talking about CloudNet?
All right, so yeah, we've a lot of exposition here. We've covered it. You know the main beats. Congratulations, everybody. Basically, though, Sarah, the sirens are on our end. Sarah is like,
Is there always one that sounds like it's from another world?
It's
that dude, it's CloudNet.
They're implementing new speakers that if you're actually driving in front of it, it vibrates your car.
awesome.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's
The
horrible.
technology's
It's-
starting
It
already.
just pushes your car
terrifying.
over into another car.
What if they
You're
hit
like,
the brown note? You know what I'm talking about?
And you shit your pants.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing that's pertinent to our information here in review, right, is that basically they were finally like, wait, like why the fuck were you there? How did you know to go to this random Mexican highway to find us there? And she's like,
I'm happy they asked.
me too.
Yeah.
It's important. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of movies wouldn't have brought it up.
Really? Well, it's
Yeah,
a key
a lot
plot
of
point
movies
to getting.
suck.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, she's like, this is what I do now. I just hunt Terminators. I get random text messages. And it doesn't sound like she gets a lot of them. It's
Sounds
right.
like every 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
it
She
seems
was
like
kinda
they're
saying-
they're spaced out. I don't know if it's like on a
What
schedule.
happened between the time of her son dying
Uh-huh.
and cell phones being implemented as a normal thing? You got to imagine a bunch of Terminators. Do you think that like the first list was like, hey, there's a bunch of Terminators in this general area? What were those Terminators doing? Were they still hunting John Connor because they didn't know he was dead?
They're tracking her through
These
like,
are
through like
questions.
MSN chat.
Yeah.
These are just questions.
They are
that
just
I
great
have,
questions. Yeah, you know what I
And
mean?
it's like, if they don't know that he is dead and
Maybe
they're
that's
just
how-
hunting for him, they can't turn good, right? Because like if they
well,
have
they
to
find the
complete their mission
confirmation. They'd
before-
find confirmation that he's dead, right, through newspaper clippings and
No, there's no
microfiche.
newspaper clipping that like
Microfiche. Remember that?
No.
You go to
You
the
have to
library.
imagine that this is why she was able to kill them so easily because they were just standing there.
just standing there being like, I don't know what to
they
do.
knew
I
the
don't
mission
know.
was complete. They were like, I don't until someone teaches me how to lay flooring. I have no purpose in life.
I like that idea, yeah, of like before cell phones, because I hope that's what happens in the next Terminator Dark Fate 2, where it is in fact
Darker
that like
Judgment
there it's more, a little bit like Multiplicity, where there's just a house of Carls that's just been chilling. Like, they've all before cell phones, they all just landed like, oh, the mission's accomplished. Like,
Yeah.
you guys just want to go move into a house, man, and chill and figure this out. Wait for everybody.
Get a timeshare.
Yeah.
I
Wait for
feel
everybody
like
to fuck it
she
up.
just didn't deal with those, and then she got the text one day from Carl, and he
Well,
was
yeah,
like,
but-
"Hey, there's a house full of them. Do your thing."
I don't think that is what
There was
happened.
just
made
go
the house
through
There's
their
no
all
way.
those speedos because they
'Cause
all just
again,
look jacked.
These
still.
guys are teleporting in and have like no idea that he's dead, so they're just gonna go look. But like they're not gonna find any
Bunch of
records.
naked men in a
This-
room.
Like I'm sure it was a false name that he was
Yeah.
buried with.
This
I-
to me is just just the weakest part of this whole plot.
Yeah.
Like why
Doesn't
does any
matter,
of this
though.
need to happen?
But they all end for John, right?
Yeah.
That's how they end, because it's like, oh, this person's trying to avenge the death of John
Right.
Connor. And of course,
It was
you know,
clear, right? Like I
Grace
feel like
is
we were all like, okay, really,
But also,
I don't know
if
how he'd get
he
any
was trying to
information, but somehow.
avenge
Wait,
the
what was
death
clear?
of John.
that it was the Terminator, right?
Oh well, yeah, well, fuck. I mean, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger's popping up in the movie. Yeah, I knew it was him. I didn't. Again, based on how bad his CG was in the beginning, I didn't realize it was the same Terminator. I thought this was going to be that in the same way they were sent. Well, I guess we didn't know this at the time, but the same way they sent multiple Terminators. I guess we did know that. I thought that maybe it turned out the Resistance did send more Terminators back, and there was one that was there to protect John. And since
It's
that
like, I
made-
just missed. I
Yeah,
missed. Sorry, my bad.
Exactly. Oh, God, I overshot this by a lot. Anyway, she's been out there. She's been hunting, killing them. How do you get these messages? They say for John. They're all encrypted, and Danny's like, "I'm from the future, you moron. Here's how I do it." What are you doing? Future super soldier stuff, right?
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that line. I like
Future
that.
stuff.
And she's like, "Oh, here's the coordinate. Oh, it's these coordinates. Fuck. Why is that a fuck?" And she goes, "Bam, because they're on me."
God.
And there's what?
I
How
looked
great would it have been
right
if I
inside.
if I had thought this bit
That would've been
through
so
and I had the
cool.
coordinates written on me?
No, I thought you were gonna pick it. I thought you were gonna say like, how great would it be? I picked up my shirt. I had like a big titty, like just
What?
a big,
Jesus.
just a big old
Oh,
titty.
I do, Andy. There it is. Stop!
Stop! You keep showing it to me. Like,
Come here, milk mommy. You look thirsty.
Yeah. God.
The coordinates are in Texas. I assume very close to Far, Texas. Is that right?
Laredo?
Yeah.
Laredo's like 3 hours
Close.
ish.
Pretty close, man.
yeah, because Texas is real big, right?
Carl lived by you.
Driving, yeah.
Carl lived by you.
I
All
thought
right,
that you
so
were
it's in
walking.
Texas. It's at these coordinates. We got it. It's Laredo, Texas. Name for Laredo Bobbitt. Got it. And so they're like, how can we get into Texas? And that was funny, too, where Sarah Connor's like, I had my own America's Most Wanted episode. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. You want to bring an undocumented immigrant, future soldier person and me into this? Ain't gonna work. And Danny's like,
just like, I
my
got a
uncle does.
coyote.
I got a guy. He's my uncle. And so we go to a train station. Everybody climbs on top of the train, and they're all riding at night in the train. And again, they're catching up, figuring all this out, patching it up. Right?
2 hours and 46 minutes without traffic.
Okay.
Can you do walking now?
Yeah, do walking.
Oh, 2 days. It says
2
right
days,
up
2
top.
days of walking. That's a 2 day.
So
trek.
they're on the train. We get a lot of catch up
about the
here.
train?
Right. And Sarah Connor, what does she do? Sarah says something really bitchy here.
train?
Sarah says something really bitchy here. That like in Grace is like, I just want to fucking. Sometimes you say stuff and I want to punch you in the fucking face. Anybody remember? It doesn't matter. Grace has the
yeah,
the flashback or the dream sequence, or maybe she's telling them, right, about here's what it's like. You know, I had a great life, and then everything went to kablooey when the thing happened, and it happened immediately, and then everything fell, and
That
my
was
dad got killed
interesting.
for peaches.
That was interesting. That, like,
Again, where I was like, oh, your dad's dead. Maybe your dad's calories.
the first step, just electricity goes out, no connection
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. The second step, it's like, oh, that then it was nukes, right?
Yeah, then everybody starts to fight
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other.
And then it's people
The
fighting
food
each other.
ran
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Interesting the
liked
way
it.
that, yeah.
me
I liked
too.
it too. I thought that was
I thought they
cool.
showed it really well too.
Yeah.
And then we got this weird thing of her running through the parking structure, dodging HKs. They call them hunter killers.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, okay. Skynet.
I mean, that's easy talk for people. Like they don't know the models.
they
They're not
do?
reading it.
That's easy for
They
us to
kill.
digest.
They kill.
Yeah.
then I would say there is the hunter and the killer up there. So they're doing and then it ends in an abrupt spot where like she's surrounded by other kids and like a Lord of the Flies moment, and she's like, it sucks and it's fucked up. All that happens. Danny goes to bed. Everybody's doing it, whatever. We get to where we're going. We get off. We walk. We run into the uncle finally. Like, hey, and I was like, oh
He
man,
seemed nice.
yeah, exactly. He's
He
great.
seemed nice.
He seems
Right?
great.
He
He's
seems
a
cool.
coyote. He's gonna take people across the way. That's fantastic.
I think like while he's taking him, he's like, I take care of people. I don't just fuck them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot of times those coyotes, they fuck.
Oh no, they don't want that. No, you don't want that kind of coyote.
Yeah.
And so she tells him about the robot. I think he kind of believes it. At some point, I'm sure we've checked in on Rev 9. I forgot what he It got a face scan
Well,
at some point.
she cuts the fly in half.
Doesn't he?
Right,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That was cool. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Rev 9, we cut to him, and he's at a data farm plugging in. And he's
And
like,
he finds
oh,
off
the internet.
And that was the thing where Sarah had said,
Lot
of
of
course.
board.
Sarah had said, of course, like you don't even know what you're fucking up against in this time period. There's cameras everywhere. You're being documented every second. So like, yeah, I forget what. They saw her on the train. It was a train photos where they got it. And he's like, ah. And then he did the thing of where the train was going to Laredo, Texas, or no, to where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So he's like, I fucking know where these people are, great. And so then it's like we're being coyotes and we're going through and we're gonna do this thing, we're getting closer and closer. And this is where then we go to immigration over there. You got the border people over there, and they're like out, they're searching. And they got a UAV drone up there, and then like this woman walks into the border room. No, or is that this is here, right?
No,
Or is
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
woman walks
detainment
in.
facility, or is that here?
I think that they're very close together.
All right, so does
Yeah.
she
So
walks
there's
in and the guy's like, "You bring me a donut?" And she's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I love you, Billy."
good.
Bah, bah, and they're like, "The fuck, oh, bah, bah," and we're just stabbing and shit.
He's so nice, though, you know? Like,
Totally.
the whole time,
Yeah, dude,
staying
Terminator.
in character.
Nice dude.
And
And
see-
even like when he's like about to kill and he's talking to the other Terminator and he's like, just let me do it. He still seems like such a nice dude. Like maybe you should let him.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, you know.
Because like these robots are pretty cool. They seem
Yeah.
like they got it
They
down.
they're maybe
Yeah.
not the evil ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looks like he works at a law firm in the RGV. Like he's on a commercial and he's like, if you contact me, Martinez and Hernandez, law, you know, like he.
Yeah,
Claro
yeah,
que hablamos
totally.
español.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like by the time we get to like Rev 14, they're just gonna be stand-up dudes. They're
Totally.
just gonna be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey, we're gonna.
At that point, they're
let's
gonna be
talk
like,
to the
yeah.
Terminators.
Let's get a democracy going here.
They move on from hand jobs.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets on the horn and he's like, "Hey, everybody, we got a whole bunch of armed illegals coming over this border. We got to stop them, right?" And so, sure enough, Coyote pulls back the really just little chain there, and they all go down and they come out on the other side, and it's like, "Get on the ground! Get on the ground!" And there's a moment of like, "Oh shit! Like, we can't be taken. We got to do this. I don't know what I'm gonna do." Blah blah. And Danny's like, "No, fuck this. I'm giving myself up." Okay, and they all give themselves up, and they all get taken to a containment facility there. We're not there yet. No.
Wait, doesn't a drone drop or is that later?
This is right here where they start going, and the drone comes down to try to kill them, right?
Which
'Cause
was
they
cool
got-
to see like the drone.
Danny pushes it, right? Yeah, and they still get shoved in the thing, though.
This whole bit to me is why I like this movie, where the action scenes are great, but even the moments of just kind of like, hey, what's happening? What's the plot? How do we get the characters to the next place? I liked it. I thought that there was like purpose behind the immigration stuff and her going to the uncle. It's like it didn't feel just like fetch quest for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It felt like every step they were doing felt purposeful. That doesn't stay true. Like I
Sure.
think that pretty quickly changes. But this scene, I feel like it was a perfect blend of exposition of the characters, them being somewhere that mattered, and when the action happened, I felt like that butthole thing.
Yeah.
I was so
What a way to put it.
confused. Yeah.
So they get taken over to the detention facility. They're tossed into there and like general pop, and they're all just sitting there. Grace was injured in the drone thing, so she's put in a different area. Sarah is there, and eventually the dude comes in. He's like, "Sarah Connor," and I was like, "This is cool.
Yeah,
I love it."
yeah,
Like,
you're
you're a
famous.
celebrity.
Dope, dude.
Yeah, and I was hoping we would get something there. I was hoping they would get to a room and run through her rap sheet or
That guy
whatever.
dies pretty quick.
No, he gets
Yeah.
fucked up. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Sarah's a badass. Knocks him out, undoes her cuff when everything starts going wrong. Because of course, now we have the Rev 9 there. He's walking around, looking around. Grace wakes up, right, and then grabs that woman. And, she surely knocks more people out with their head, but grabs that one woman and goes, "Where do you keep the prisoners?" And she's like, "Well, they're not prisoners. They're not." I was like, "That is awesome. That is so funny."
We call them detainees.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Never.
Yeah. Where do you
And
go for
that
processing?
seems like such a like I could see that happening in a situation
Totally.
like that. Yeah.
We can't say the P
Yeah,
word
yeah,
or
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, exactly. So Rev 9, he's out there, he's looking, finally finds Caesar. He's like, "It's on, motherfuckers." And then he pulls the fire alarm, or Grace pulls the fire
Grace
alarm?
does.
Grace pulls the fire alarm, and then she's hopping over top shit, and she lands, and he has a gun or something. I don't know.
The scene of the Rev 9 being pushed through the crowd, and he's trying to get to them, but there's a lot of foot traffic because Grace unlocks all the doors, so all the detainees are all
Yeah, yeah.
running through the hallway, and he just fucking leaps over everybody
Yeah.
to like get on the ceiling. That shit was so cool.
This is
to
also
me.
where the other border guards realize he's a threat, right? And they try to fight him, and he's just stab,
Yeah.
and then they all like group tackle him, and he's just still walking and like being a Terminator.
And he
about
does
it.
the
It's awesome.
Venom thing.
He's spiking.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
through
exactly.
As he walks.
Loved it.
He looks a lot like Venom with the black stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, now Grace and Danny run outside to a helicopter. They climb in the helicopter, and they're like, "We gotta go." And then she's like, "I see Sarah," and it's like, "We also see a fucking Terminator." I'm not leaving without Sarah. She gets out of the helicopter. Sarah makes it and gets in, and then he has one jump for it and doesn't make it, and then he just stands and looks at him and then like walks because he's like, "I'll see you again."
I
And I'm
thought
like, awesome.
What I thought he was gonna do, what I hoped he would have
Yeah.
done, was pick up the dead body and fling it at the helicopter.
This is one of those things that.
Or pick up his the metal body, have that jump.
But going back
cool.
to something you said earlier that I had forgotten about, yeah, but immediately after we finished this, and Jen and I were like, we loved this, and Lucy and Tam were like, we did not like this. It was the idea that in the beginning, the Rev 9, remember, you were saying that he was throwing his own spikes, right? He was making spikes out of his liquid metal part.
I don't know if he was throwing spy. I
Was he
think
not?
It was
I
just
thought
like
you said this in the beginning.
It was just
Don't
like
touch me.
He was
expanding.
expanding.
In the very, all right, whatever.
No. Oh, he was not
Shooting something.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean like shooting them out of his body. I just meant like
were shooting
he
him.
was like jettison. Not even jettison.
In the beginning of the movie, not in the fight we're talking about now.
No, I was talking about
fight later.
it's the latest
He just
like the
referenced
end
it
fight.
earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
He
end
was jumping
fight,
ahead in the plot.
They were holding him, remember, and he just
Okay,
kept
then
having,
then no, I remember all of this. It doesn't matter. Lucy was wrong. Everybody text Lucy James, tell her she's wrong. Anyways, well, he can make a gun though, right? Doesn't matter. There's
What are the
You can
rules?
also
There's no
make
rules.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. So they fly away. They got the coordinates. They know where they're going. They're gonna stop one click short. Andy, how far is the click?
12 meters.
How many parsecs is it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I assume it's a
I
kilometer.
think it's 100 meters, but I don't know.
Kilometer.
You want me to Google it? I'll Google it.
All right, thanks very much. Thanks. They stop. They walk up. It's a sleepy little cabin out there, right? And it's Carl.
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
6.2 miles.
Much more than I thought.
Yeah,
That's fine.
and they walk up, and it's just his house, and they don't know what's going to go. So Sarah goes to the side of the door. She has her gun ready. Danny's behind Grace. They knock on the door. So it's just a dude watching TV. He gets up. He opens the door. It's
Watching
Arnold
college
Schwarzenegger.
football.
Yeah, right. It's Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger. Sarah's like, what? And she goes to shoot him, and
Wait, everybody's
Danny
saying-
grabs the gun.
A kilometer is one. A
It's
click is one.
The internet just said that's not true. So
Did
I
it
don't know
say
who to believe.
10 clicks though? Because now I kind of feel like it said 10 clicks equals 10
Doesn't matter.
kilometers.
And there's just this whole screaming, you killed John. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yes, I
Again,
did.
for me, a reveal. I didn't understand this based on the fact that the first Terminator looked nothing like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I was like, oh, fuck, really? That's cool. In the scar on his face, did she shoot him in the face? Then I didn't remember that.
No,
From the
she
very
shot him
beginning.
like 3 times in the
In the
back.
back, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm sure he's been through other shit since then, though. That's why I assume he has.
Yeah,
So,
I love that. Like the CG was bad, but I love that to you it was so bad you didn't know it was him.
Really did not know that was
Yeah.
supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
there was a little moment where
There was
I was
a
like,
moment.
is this
one
a
shot
different
where
model?
I'm like, you look a little bit different than Arnold, but like I always could tell it was CG on Arnold.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought his face was so radically different that
Yeah,
I
that's-
there like
that's bad.
I just assumed that it was him, but I also there was like that voice in my mind. I'm like, was that different model?
No, I always just saw a badly made Arnold. That's all I knew it was. Yeah.
It's just weird that he was so bad and they were so good.
It is.
So yeah, here we go. What's been happening here? This is Carl, everybody, and like eventually
Carl.
Sarah settles down a bit, and they come over, and he just lays it all out of
calling
like,
you Carl.
yeah, I know, I'll never. You don't get to say John's name. He lays it on outright like he was a Terminator and he completed his mission. So then he just kind of fucking walked off, and he's a learning computer.
That
And
was
so-
that was a funny line though. Just to go back to it real quick, like my name is they call me Carl. Or whatever. I'm never gonna fucking call you Carl. Like
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
That line got like a nice pop from the audience.
I really liked. I was laughing in the theater when he was making the Coronas and he was like handing them out to everybody. I'm like, what a nice guy.
That's so funny.
Because
I wanna
deep
party
down
with Carl.
inside, all the Terminators are nice. They just need to complete their mission and then they can learn how to love.
But to me, like that whole Corona thing is like he's seen that in a movie somewhere. He's like to him that's
He knows humans
hospitality.
like when you have somebody over to your house.
I wonder
you-
what movie you watched.
Fast and Furious. Wow.
Definitely, 100%.
Wow.
The most important
Yeah, he's- he's
part of the family.
most important
people in the world are in this room.
Here's the thing: I get that there can be so much criticism of Carl's character and how they handle it and all that stuff, and it's like that's all valid. It's like it is weird that this robot would turn into this house kept thing. But I love the direction they went with it. I thought they committed to it, and I believed in the vision and world that they created with this.
Even like,
in the movie,
I believe in it too, and I totally get complaints. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel what we saw with T2 when it was like, yeah, he learned why to cry. You know
But
what I mean?
like that was programmed to not kill. He was programmed
this
to protect.
It doesn't matter, it's still a
this
robot.
one's program was to kill John Connor.
Yeah, but like you gotta imagine like, all right, John Connor's dead. I guess I'll wait to see if John Connor comes back. And I'm like, that's what he would do, right?
No, because human beings don't come back. What does that mean? What does that make sense?
Time travel, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, touch out. You don't know.
No, but you can't forget
Yeah.
everything you know to Greg when he's forgetting everything you know to you.
And so yeah,
Jesus
so we
Christ.
get caught up
but
here.
I do think that this bit, like, this is where the movie to me, like, doesn't grind to a halt, but it just does. It slows down in a way that I don't think it ever fully picks up.
Oh man,
again.
this is where I get even more in.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool to see him and her back together. I thought it was so cool to see them back together and have it be different and not be it's Terminator 3 and you're the Terminator, but you're not my Terminator. So it's like we don't even have that. And like this was like I thought what they did for me personally, they did so much in this movie to do new things because they couldn't do what any of the other movies have done, and I really just dug it all. I was like, this is so cool.
The Carl character, I feel like I accepted what it was pretty quickly because I knew that this is the guy who made the first Deadpool. Like if this was like a Christopher Nolan movie or like a Scorsese movie or something like that, this all would have felt pretty cheesy and lame to me. But when this character is presented as kind of like immediately it's like comedic relief. I have silly bits and I'm personified. I'm a human.
Yeah.
I'm pretending to be human in today's day and age. It was a lot. I was a lot more willing to accept it, knowing that this is Tim Miller, a guy who made a funny Deadpool movie. You know?
yeah.
I really, really enjoyed when he was explaining who he was, and he was like, "People tell me I'm funny." And it was just like, oh, that's really
No,
funny.
it was like,
but like, other
why
than
does
that,
your
I
wife
was
love
just-
you?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, we don't make love or whatever, but I'm dependable. I change the diapers.
Yeah.
I
I
do
love,
the
yeah, I
dishes.
love
Our
that when,
relationship
when
is not
she,
physical,
yeah, when
yeah.
she's like, she hasn't noticed you're 400 pounds. He's like, our relationship isn't physical.
Yeah, our relationship isn't physical. I do the dishes. I don't complain, and I'm also really funny.
I'm a good listener.
that
exactly.
shit. Like I got a good laugh out
what
of
does
me.
Sarah, or what does he say that Sarah then shoots him like in the chest 3 times, and he looks down, and he's like, "This is going to be very hard to
very
explain."
difficult to explain. Yeah.
To whatever her name is. his
Hey, he
wife.
just changed his shirt.
Yeah, he just put on a flannel.
Yeah, it
He
didn't
put
seem
on
like-
an over-
But
yeah.
it was like everything's like going to hell anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so yeah, then he takes them out back and shows them the gun closet, and in another great line of like, I calculated a 47 or a 74% chance, 72% chance that this is gonna happen again. Also, this is Texas. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And yeah, so this is going on. Then he says goodbye to his family and has them run. He's like, my past is caught up. And they always knew this might happen. My past is caught up to me. I won't be back. Like he
See, I love it.
Yeah.
I really feel like they did a good job with it, where it's like it's story driven.
Well, like to me, that was like, oh, no, they're closing like that his story, but it's like, are they? Are they gonna just not reboot like fucking Terminator again in 10
but
years?
it's not about
and we're
that.
gonna
It's
have
about
an
him
even
saying goodbye to
older-
the family.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying like, but it wasn't about that. It was him saying goodbye to the role. Too.
I don't feel that. Like, especially when it's just an image of this guy's face for robots that with time travel that we have seen come back a million times. He's gonna come back a million times. I don't care.
But I don't know. I felt like that's what they were trying to say.
That line was pretty cool to me because it sort of tied up this story plot. What I thought was gonna be a plot hole, where I was gonna be like, how are they gonna explain away the fact that he's just telling his wife and his kid, all right, I'm leaving, I gotta go, I'm never gonna see you again, and then him just being like, yeah, my past has caught up with me.
But, like, the way they
I've
explain
explained
it
this to
is,
them
like,
for a long
yeah.
time. They knew that this would happen one day, and now it's here.
Yeah.
This is sort of like my judgment day.
Yeah.
And now I got to tell them bye. You know, it was like, it's kind of cool the way they, I guess, justify that whole story beat.
yeah. So
Yeah, real quick, in the chat, Chris One says he's the last remnant of Skynet. Though it's like, is he, or are we gonna have more Arnold Schwarzeneggers teleported for the next 100 years if they want?
not to mention
You know?
if Legion's so smart or so lazy, I should say, they're just making more hunter killers. They're gonna fucking make a T-800 too. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, their T-800s looked very, or like their
Their
robots
exoskeletons,
coming
yeah.
out of the, it looked like T-800s.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see him in the future ones, because I feel like if they're going to make more, where they leave this with Danny and Linda, I was like, man, that's pretty fucking cool.
I agree that like if they do a continuation of this story, that he won't be in there.
Yeah.
But if there's a reboot in 10 years, they'll somehow shoehorn him in.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's face will be in every single Terminator movie till the end of time.
Okay.
Put it on the books.
I would bet that he is. If there is a sequel to this movie, he won't be in it at all.
Okay. I count flashbacks. I count anything.
You ready to bet?
What do you want to bet?
Pizza
I
party.
don't know.
Fuck.
Pizza party.
Pizza party.
Round table.
Yes.
Extra red sauce.
No. Not going
You
Well,
there.
it depends on the winner.
Not
Depends
full
who's
plate.
the winner.
You should
Depends who
on
the
it.
winner is.
If you win the prediction for
No
the Death
pepperoni.
Stranding Metacritic score, you might have 2 pizza parties.
First off, I'm
Well,
gonna
this
win.
will take years.
Did you see already? I'm winning, so don't worry
Oh,
about
what's the score?
it. It's 84 today. 80.
It'll come down.
And I said
It'll
82.
come down.
Yeah.
78 will happen.
Okay. We'll see you next Thursday. So yeah, here we go. This is happening. We need to stop this guy. How can we stop this guy? We need an EMP. That would help. Okay, cool. Sarah knows a guy in the military who will help. Okay. What do you got for me?
What a
Tim?
waste
What a waste.
of a situation.
Yeah.
Why
And like
couldn't
jumping
this be-
ahead a little bit, but it's like we end up seeing this connect who gets her some stuff, and it's like, are you the son?
That was
It would've been
exactly,
really cool if
that
you were
was my
Miles
thing
Dyson
too.
Jr..
Where I 100% with you guys too, and
Yeah.
not even because
Instead,
we're full
Dean.
blown racists. It was because it was like, why would anyone help Sarah Connor?
Right.
Like this guy who's getting dropped in out of the sky, just this dude that we're all supposed to be like, oh, well,
In
okay.
a net.
We're all supposed to be. I thought that was going to be the reveal too, but it wasn't until. But then pretty much immediately he was like, who's Carl? Who's this guy? Where it's like, oh man, if you remember the guy who fucking shot your dad and then like let your dad blown himself up, you want to be like,
It was just weird. And like, we always complain when we're doing prequels or sequels or stuff about too many callbacks or not enough callbacks, and so like it is a weird balance. But
This
I just
would
feel
have
like
been a perfect
This would have
callback.
been.
Yeah.
A
you
good
have to
one.
imagine there was a script where it was because
Yeah.
it would have. Not that I was like, what the fuck, but I was what the fuck.
This
but I
was
don't
such
care.
a Deus Ex
Well, just-
Machina
yeah,
sort of thing.
exactly.
To have this easy turnkey solution, it only would have made sense if it would.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a reshoot for some reason where it didn't test well, and because he was
That
supposed to
makes
be
no
Miles'
sense.
son.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like all they needed to do was instead of it say, because I believe its name
Yeah.
tag said
Yeah, it
Dean.
didn't say Dyson,
If it
yeah.
just said Dyson, like that
we
would have
needed.
been. We
That
would
would've
all
been
be
so
like,
cool.
and then it was fucking Dyson.
Yeah. Whatever though. Yeah. So they drive over there. When they're driving around in the van too, though, Rev 9 gets a photo of that. He knows what he's looking for. So when they're doing the switch here, he comes fucking in like a bat out of hell, right? He's in a helicopter because he took the helicopter from the immigration people.
Another weird thing though.
Y'all got a chopper.
What?
That
I'm sure
reminds
those guys
me
are
of
dead.
You out here to see
Yeah.
the shit show? Like he's just a cool guy. I like his accent.
You know what I mean?
He's a
Fucking
good
kill
actor.
everybody. It's fine with
Yeah.
us. We don't care.
I can't wait till he finishes. Kills her, and then just can become a nice guy, and
Yeah, 100%.
he's right there.
Yeah. So
He's already there. Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't have to
Yeah,
become
yeah.
it.
all shooting happens and they get bang bang and stuff, and they shoot the guy, this kid who, not even the kid, the guy who shows up, he's shot immediately. And so then they get in the van, they're only a couple clicks away from this military base, and he calls, he's like, we're coming in hot, motherfuckers, we got things shooting at us, help.
I thought that was really cool that he was like, because I'm in the military, this high up dude, I can call the military and be like, hey, someone's trying to kill me, attack.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they were just like, sure.
Yeah, sure, we
That
got
seems-
you.
That seems reasonable.
We got you, Captain.
Yeah.
They blew through the front gate. Rev 9's in pretty hot pursuit behind them. They drive and they're running and they get onto the back of one of those big old cargo planes. And it's got a bunch of cargo on
Big
it.
ol' Hercules.
Big old Hercules. And they're trying to get off cargo and they're pushing things. And our Terminator's pushing shit. Carl, he's pushing shit off of it. And then they finally get moving and the doors open. And then Rev 9's chasing them and he gets on it. And then they're on there and they're all fighting on the thing.
Sure.
And they're tearing
It's
up the
such
sides.
a tropey set where it's like, how many times have we seen the cargo plane?
Yeah, the
action
door
scene?
open, yeah.
But I thought they did a good job.
Yeah.
I thought that they did unique, creative things. Like we've seen it in Fast 6, we've seen it in Uncharted. It's like we know this so well. But I feel like the way that it was choreographed, and like especially as we progress, and it's kind of not anti-grav, but like grav.
No, I
Zero
mean,
G.
No, yeah, zero
Yeah.
G's. Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I
was-
thought
I was
that-
into it.
I thought that this moment was not well lit. Where like it
was very dark.
I wish it was a little brighter so that we can see the action a little bit more. Because using the
I
zero
do
G
think a lot of that
cool
is
action.
IMAX. So IMAX just always
Yeah, I was
has
gonna say
been
I
dark
didn't.
for
I
me.
saw it at Alamo and I didn't.
I did not like
it
the
was dark.
IMAX experience for this movie at all.
We had really good seats. We were like dead center. Joey killed it getting the seats. I was really happy with my.
So yeah, they do. And of course, they're
just
fucking the
said you
plane
weren't
up and
happy.
everything's
No, with
everything's
my
blowing
positioning
up.
in the thing. I wasn't happy with
Great.
how
They're getting
bright
they're
that
getting
scene
a
was.
Hummer. They're gonna toss out the window. It's got a parachute on it, and there's a whole bunch of straps they need to take off, and they're shooting straps off at some point. They're doing all this stuff.
I do like when the Rev 9 is like flying out and like fucking like hooks onto the little door and shit. Like
Yeah.
it's just so scary.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
so imposing.
But he gets blown off eventually. They're like, get out of here, Rev 9. He's like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then,
Rev
and then when he
9,
fell
okay.
off, I thought that this was going to be the climax of the movie. And then when he fell off, I was like, oh, we got more
It's a
action.
Terminator movie,
We got
man.
more
Like, there's
action.
no way that's gonna kill.
Yeah.
I do really like that when he fell off. He goes to that dude's shed.
Sorry
and he's
about
like,
your shed.
sorry about the shed.
Yeah.
And see, yeah, it doesn't kill
And
him.
then
He just
murders
keeps
all of
walking.
them.
No, he doesn't. He keeps walking. Also, I did enjoy the Easter egg here. I don't know if you caught this. When he falls to that shed, the country song that's playing at the barbecue is the country song that was playing in the bar in Terminator 2 when
Awesome.
Schwarzenegger
That's
showed up.
great.
So that was cool. Hillbilly Blues. Meanwhile, yeah, they're in the Hummer and they're falling out of that, and Danny's on the side of it or some shit. Nobody knew where she was for a second. She was hanging. That crashes on the Hoover Dam, right? And fuck this up, right? They crash on the Hoover Dam.
Was that
it's
the
laying
Hoover
there for it crashed on a dam, but I'm pretty sure it's Hoover Dam. People are fucking panicking. They hit their buttons and they're running away and shit. Terminators are all over the fucking place. I don't know. This is where the beers
The
are catching
100
up.
little Terminators.
This is where the beers are catching up.
They're hanging off the dam, right?
At some point, yeah, because Schwarzenegger and
No,
Rev 9 end up in the water, right? Or
Yeah,
is it
so
just
they
Schwarzenegger?
land and it's like right on the edge. It's one of those things
Yeah,
where
yeah.
like, we need to get out, and then it teeters
Oh yeah, and
over.
it does, and the car's under. It's completely submerged, and they're under there. I must
No,
have skipped something,
the-
right?
yeah,
he didn't fall through the. He doesn't fall through the shed right next to the fuck. What am I missing? When does he fall through the shed, and then how does he get
It
to the
must
dam?
have been close to Hoover Dam, and he just ran or took a car.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
I
was
don't
that-
remember the transition.
But you're right-
I
I'm
think
right
it was-
about
I think
this,
that
right?
was just like the villain reveal of like, oh, he's here.
Okay. Cool. Doesn't matter.
But we get that cool moment where the car is hanging off the dam, and it's strapped up, and Mackenzie Davis comes out of the car, goes up top, cuts all the cords, and then like shoots herself up somehow as he's shooting down.
Yeah.
So they have a little bit of a fight there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That was neat.
So the Hoover Dam is in Nevada, correct?
Ish. Yeah.
Is it not? Yeah.
It's not in
bad
Texas,
It's not in
though.
Texas.
No,
right?
it's definitely not.
Oh,
in
great!
Texas.
That's a great point, guys.
Well, no,
great
but
job.
yeah,
Actually, honest.
That's
Full look. Full stop. Great point.
It hit me, and I was like, did I not pay attention? Did they go to Nevada?
Great point. I'm not even thinking of
Well,
geography
they were
at all.
flying in a giant plane.
Yeah,
Like,
but they
those
didn't
things
make-
are going
they didn't make up that
300
much
miles
space.
an hour, and we don't know where
I don't know.
and
man.
how long they were up there. It could have been 6 hours.
They ended up in a dam, which I thought was an uninspired set piece.
Wait. Did they fly? They fly the plane for a while? It
We don't know how long, because
But
like
doesn't the plane get totally fucked up and explode and crash? And they jump out in the Humvee.
yeah, but they're flying for a little while.
Oh!
We missed the thing where the Rev 9 shows up in the refueling plane.
Yes.
Now we're caught up.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
And is that so the Rev 9 got kicked off in the first battle when they were taking off. Then they flew for a while.
Yeah.
Then he came up in the refueling plane.
Exposition,
Thanks,
blah,
guys.
blah,
We
blah,
figured it out.
the
We got
story
there. We got
elements.
there. We got there. We got there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's in this plane that we get the reveal about it's not the sun.
Right. It's you.
you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
saved me.
All of that stuff. Grace,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
see
yeah.
the flashback. We see future Danny. saving
Who's
the
not
day.
that frustrated? I leaned over to Jen, so I'm like, "Is Judgment Day tomorrow? Like,
I do.
is it about
Well,
to
like
fucking pop
at
off?"
the end when you see the
Yeah,
girl,
you're
it's
like,
like
"That's her?"
that shit looked like that's
Yeah.
you're 2 years away from that.
I do love that like junk.
What I missed.
Greg's brain.
so much.
Junk Greg's brain is like my brain is as good as Junk Greg's
Yeah,
brain.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
My memory's so bad that like I remember just as much as you, like kind of drunk.
It's not even a drunk thing as much as just like, okay, we had two plane pieces back to back. Like, of course, I'm
Yeah.
gonna just like shorten that up and put
Yeah,
them all
yeah.
together
That's
there or
fine.
whatever.
Are you guys-
We're at the dam
Oh,
that we
okay.
think is in the.
Did
We
already-
think we've been in the
Did
air
we
long
already
enough.
expose the fact that Grace was saved by?
Yeah, we
No,
just
Danny
found,
was
yeah,
saved
that
by
was just
that.
revealed.
And it's
no, you're
only
right, you're right.
5 months from now or whatever.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
she does
yeah.
not look any older.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
weird.
exactly.
That was a weird call.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna recast a different actress and have her be like,
They
"I'm
should've.
Danny. I'm 40.
Yeah.
Come with me if you want." And also, here's my really old grandma, Sarah Connor, and she's with me still too. Because what happens to Sarah, we don't care.
But also the idea, like Grace's role right now might be just protect Danny until the apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's just to save her from the Terminator, right?
But maybe it's to save her from maybe it's like next month, you know? And it's just to get her to that point, and then like time will hopefully, like will take over.
Well, you have to imagine that Sarah trained her after this, right?
right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
like definitely.
Yeah, but
Sarah's
not
like,
in that timeline.
That's fair. But all these timelines are all the same,
Are you
so it
sure?
doesn't matter.
Because isn't that time like a bootstrap theory?
The
where-
time is a
problem
flat
with
circle.
Terminator timelines is you can't start thinking about it of like, oh, well, now that this solved itself.
Well,
those
John
things
Connor
still
was
happen.
only born
Because Kyle Reese.
because Kyle Reese went back. So in the original timeline, or there is no original timeline. It's all a loop, right?
Yeah.
It's a flat circle.
It's true. It's true.
Ryan Johnson.
So, anyways, yeah, they're underwater in the Humvee. The Terminators are fighting up there. When I don't know if Arnold's already out of commission at this point. I don't think so, right? He already got one hand fucked up, and then it's like they're underwater, and she's like, "All
And
right,
the
the door is
car-
gonna open, and we're gonna shoot the parachute. When he goes, you gotta swim."
That's not how parachutes work. A and B. I always love when people start firing guns underwater because I don't think they work underwater, right?
They don't work very well.
No.
Like after 6 feet, they
just
lose
stop.
deadliness.
Can the
something like
explosion happen underwater?
that. Yeah, because that's just like it's just it doesn't explode as big.
Oh,
Wait, are
anyway.
you talking about in the gun? Or
I'm just saying, like, when
or
they
the
shoot
parachute?
guns underneath. Well, the parachute needs the actual flow of air to go through it to pop, right?
No, but so I was gonna say I think that these are low drop parachutes because they are for cargo. So I think it like
So they have a mechanism in them.
So that like
That's
pushes
fair.
it out.
That's fair.
Oh.
I also want to give a shout out to the fact that they finally figured out how to make Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm come off without him having to hide it behind his back.
Yeah.
That was nice. Remember the
Oh.
first one? It was so obvious.
Also, there was a current, like a really strong current, so it could be that it caught the current in the similar
That's
way.
possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happens.
But wait, real quick, sorry. Like, are fucking Humvees waterproof? Like
this one
watertight?
is military.
Well, this one's got like bulletproof glass too, almost.
Yeah, but
because
like no,
that
no,
shit did not shatter.
bulletproof glass, fine. That makes sense.
That makes sense. It's a
But
yeah.
like, are they prepped to? Because like I was like, there was water coming in, but it was a small amount for them being fully submerged, and also the car not like you know.
Well,
being,
you would. It's probably a little bit more watertight than your average car, but yeah, that shit's filling up.
yeah.
At a certain point, science with Kev.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that happens, and then the Terminators are fighting, and then we get back in the dam, and we're in there, and there's a bunch of machinery and shit. And Terminators are fighting, and arms are getting cut off.
At one point,
Schwarzenegger
though-
gets
He
all
splits
fucked
up, and
up.
now
We
he's
have
like gonna fight each
At one
one.
point, though, we have sort of like a payoff, kind of, for the cocktail thing she's supposed to take, but not really. Like I thought.
Oh,
I thought
Schwarzenegger
that
showed
was-
back up and was like, he left us on the
Yeah,
plane.
but I
was
thought
cool.
that was going to be a bigger thing of like they did it so well in T2 where she had that one shotgun shell that didn't work, right? But then there was the grenade thing that had popped out that he went and found and put back in. That was the one. Like I thought that was so much cleaner. And this I was expecting her to be like take it and like jack up the Terminator with it or some crazy shit like that, but it didn't really pay off.
Yeah.
For an element that was so prevalent in the first two acts, I was like, oh, this
Well,
is
it's
gonna
just for
have a
that
really good
moment, I think,
payoff,
where
and it
Danny
didn't
was
really
saying
have there.
goodbye, right? And she was like, you're going to have to go on yourself and just leave me here and da-da-da. And then Terminator shows up and like, hey,
It's
here
like,
you go.
hey,
You left
I
us on the
found
plane.
these. Yeah,
That's great.
It's like,
That's
oh,
good.
cool. I'm glad this mechanic was like throughout the whole movie of like her getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in there
Encumbers
and they're
into the
fighting. Then our Terminator, Schwarzenegger, Charles, Chip,
Carl.
Carl.
he gets fucking knocked about and his face gets all fucked up like a shit because we want to see that crap. And then he's like, he dies at some point, right? He powers down, he's dead. You're like, oh fuck, that's cool.
Is this one powered up?
Yeah. And then the Rev 9 got tossed into the old wheelie dealy where you like dry your salad when you're pressing the top of the button.
Yeah.
He gets clowned out in there, and
All
then that
this
thing
scene,
explodes.
all
Yeah,
this
that-
scene fucking
yeah.
rules. Like
Th-
it's
this
so
is
intense.
really cool.
Yeah.
I am on the edge of my seat. All right, I'm not sitting. Don't worry about having a full seat because you only need the edge of it, Greg.
Gotcha.
That was me during all of this.
You paid
dude.
for all of it,
You
though.
were
You should
sitting
enjoy it.
very comfortably in the back of your seat. I sat next to you and ate all your Snickers.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. But yeah, I think it's just all done so well where you feel the strength and like the strain on where they're trying to pull back. What's his face? And then finally Arnold is like, doom, kind of lodged into this spinning giant Metal
Yeah.
Gear. And I love the look of finally a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Were you about to say something? No, you weren't. Okay. Well, he sticks he sticks Arnold into the spinning thing, and then like the look that Arnold gives back when he's like, I'm probably not going to come out of this. Like there was like so much being shown. Yeah, there was so much being emoted through that one look where
Yeah.
he's like kind of caught in there. He's like, this is
And to
probably it
me,
for
that's Terminator.
Yeah.
Like it is that look.
Yeah, it
of,
was
like,
cool
why
as
these
shit,
movies are
man.
Cool.
The Rev 9 didn't stick Terminator in there. What was happening?
No,
is
he
they
stuck
were-
his arm in there.
Yeah,
But he stuck
Terminator
Rev 9 in
stuck
there.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
that is what
okay.
he meant.
But his arm got caught in that fucking thing.
Yeah, and like Mackenzie Davis was trying to pull
Yeah.
out,
She's,
and he was
pulling
like,
it
"Just
back
go."
by
Yeah.
his mouth.
Yeah.
Remember, like she put the chain
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
like pulling the fucking
So
Rev 9 out of his
badass,
mouth.
yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Again, another
Why-
design flaw of this thing having an exoskeleton inside of itself.
Right. You can't just
Endoskeleton? What do they call it?
Exo.
Skeleton?
Yeah, endoskeleton would be
Yeah,
it.
it's just a skeleton.
If it's inside, it's just a skeleton.
Yeah. I like this part too.
But
Go up, guy.
sorry, I was just gonna say, like, what? Why the fuck do they think that, like, hey, a giant blade that'll fuck him up?
Well, but it did though, and that was the only.
It didn't. He
that
kept
was only
going
a very
afterwards.
weird, but it melted the most powerful part of him, which was the liquid metal part, and I guess that just ended it.
I guess.
You're like, okay, I guess it generated enough
yeah.
more heat than the molten, or I guess as much heat as the molten lava at the end of
Sure.
T2 to melt this thing, but the skeleton itself is still going. I don't know.
That's why you have both of them.
It's true.
See, all this shit happens.
Can't
They're
have a
fighting.
Snickers without a
All
Frappuccino.
this
Again,
shit
Terminator
happens.
gets knocked out, or he's dead, and he goes red, and red goes out, and it's like, oh, cool, he's dead. And I was like, this is gonna be a moment for Danny and everyone to step up, and instead, Linda Hamilton just yells him back to life, and I was like, no, I don't
Yeah,
like that.
I
That
didn't
was
like it
that
either.
That was the
was
thing is I liked the moments leading up to the thing getting caught. After that, I thought this really fell apart.
I liked it because they needed a moment for her to be helpless and to help herself, and having to be like to make that call as a leader to dig into Danny's stomach and grab the power source and then have to square off against the Terminator. I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. And she stabs the fucking thing in the eye.
I was feeling all of that until Linda's move was just get up, Carl. I was like,
I wish you know what I wish they
I
did?
wish she would have done it.
I mean-
He wouldn't have done it, and it was like fuck, it really is on us, and she had to get in there
Or,
to
like,
sacrifice
tackle it.
herself to
Yeah.
get Danny to give the moment. Yeah.
Or I wish
Never-
they just had a moment where it was like it went back into his brain, it's like rerouting power, like T2. Just
Yeah.
a little homage to that, like something.
So
I-
and when he essentially takes down the Rev 9 and like they drop down, I really thought we were gonna get an Hasta La Vista, baby. I really thought we were gonna.
But that
get
wouldn't make any sense at all.
He's a learning computer.
No, shut up.
He watched the movie. He watched T2.
Yeah, he
over
watched
there.
T2.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
also-
he
he's
has
in
T2
Mexico
on
for a while,
Laserdisc.
too.
Hey, do we also? No one else thinks it's weird that like what gets him is a spike pit. You know, like
Well, he just needed to hold him down long enough for the
Yeah.
nuclear, whatever the hell.
to
For
So,
the
like,
EMP.
shoot out
Yeah.
electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a little weird because they were like, my power source, which is technology derived from their power sources, will fry his circuits. But he's got the same power source in him because we've seen that because electricity, when the first Terminator died, that's the electricity that came out. So
Yeah,
presumably,
why not-
it's
like-
all the same power
Yeah,
source.
yeah, yeah.
Why would that affect him? I don't know.
But also
Wouldn't
like
that supercharge him? He's like, I'm gonna fuck all you up now.
exploding, right? Like it wasn't. It was going off.
They were using
was
it as an EMP, yeah.
It wasn't like what it was designed to be.
It's loose at best. She's like, how are you going to use this EMP? I'm going to take it and cram it into your eyeball.
Right.
Okay. Why wouldn't that just give more power? That's an eye socket.
Forget everything you know.
Put a plug in my eye socket. See what I do. I'm going to jump around a lot. Eat some pizza.
I fucking hate you. God. Can we get the away bag back in his chair?
I mean that's it. Though.
That's it. They're all dead now. They're both dead. Grace is
Danny.
dead. Carl's dead. Rev 9's dead. He was a nice guy. And it's like, fuck, we did it. And it's like, high five. And then we're over at a chain link fence and we're looking in, and what do we see? It's Grace out there playing in the swings. And Danny's like, your life's about to be fucking ruined, but I'll see you soon.
She won't
And
die
it should
for
have
me
been her
this
fucking
time.
her dad should have been Kyle fucking Reese. And then as Linda Hamilton and her ride away in their cool Jeep, Grace looks and like, that's a cool Jeep.
And they're driving down the middle of the road, so dangerous.
We need the shot. Well, it'll be better for the shot. Yeah, fuck, right. Turn a little bit.
More symmetry.
No post-credit scene.
If her dad was Kyle Reese, do you think Linda would be like, "Hey, we should hang out. Like we could work."
He's like,
No,
got
because I
another
think he would have been
family.
in a happy family, and I really wanted to see that reveal, and I really wanted to see a tear from Linda. That's what I want.
Tear from the winds.
I might, when I get rich, I might reshoot that with them.
Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
Ragu.
Dun 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 dun
Ragu.
Oh, the baby.
Oh no.
Why don't you pick some polka dots for your kid's room? It's a nice drape.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the show within a show, the podcast within a podcast, where we rank all the bad guys in the Terminator universe. Oh my God, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's a Terminator though.
Yeah. No, well, I guess that is true.
No. We rate all the bad guys. Not the.
I literally wasn't listening to you. I was just letting you feel like
What
let me
are
get to
you
where I needed
saying?
to be, but whatever you want or whatever. You know what I mean?
So Rev 9.
Where are we ranking the Rev 9? Currently, the list, I don't even fucking find it. I think it's T1000,
1000,
then
T800.
T800, right? From T1 to T2. That's weird. I usually put them all here, but the last thing I have is Ragu Bagu, Call 5, number 1, Nick Scarpino, number 2, Scar, Cool Hyenas, number 3, Scar Hyenas, Hilitarians.
You're a monster.
Honestly, I really liked Rev 9, and I feel like his action scenes were awesome and scary, and like I don't know. I feel like all these are fairly a toss-up.
I feel like he like lacked the like creepiness of the T1000, but also didn't like. He didn't strike me as like the unstoppable machine that the T800 was. I kind of feel like this one should go last.
I agree. I liked him. Again, he's a cool dude. He's a Terminator I want to get a beer with.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm like, if this guy, if you were just like, hey man, just stop killing people, but we could hang. Like,
Again,
we
when they
could
have that
hang.
conversation.
and he's
I was
like, it's just this one.
Like, hey, bro,
Afterwards, we're cool.
Cowboys
Like,
are playing the Eagles Monday
Yeah, you want
night.
to go to Pluckers?
Like, yeah, let's go to Plugs, get a couple beers. Like, he seems like a cool dude. I loved him. I do kind of agree with Tim where I could see where I enjoyed him more than Arnold in T1. I don't think I like him more than T1000 though in T2. Yeah.
I like Arnold in T1 more, but it's also grading on a scale, right? It was a horror movie. It was a brand new idea. What a cool thing! The fucking arm you can see through his skin. Like that was all cool. This one is just like it's so hard to do this because we've seen it so much, which is why I think it stands out that we like. He's a nice guy.
Well, the thing is, I think they're all good bad guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any of them are like, oh man.
The fact that I want to hang out with Rev 9 probably puts him at the bottom of the bad guy
I was
list.
gonna say, I think also the thing is just like Rev 9 is just a combination of the other two. And we're already on well-worn territory here. This guy's just like they would literally just combine the other two. That's as creative as this bad guy got. And like Robert Patrick terrified me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
He's so perfectly
He's so
unsettling
unsettling,
because he's trying to mimic humanity and getting it totally wrong, but almost, and it's fucking creepy as shit. And then Arnold was just a physically imposing specimen.
So number 1, T1000. Number 2, T800. Number 3, Rev 9.
Sure.
7 syllables in the middle. You'll need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review. I always try to think of a line to put in there.
Everybody knows stuff.
You can go to
Did you not like that line? I love that line.
That was
It was fucking
when
hilarious.
we were in the cabin, I just went like this. I'm gonna pretend like this is a different movie. I'm gonna pretend like this is an
Wait,
SNL
what
skit.
was the line?
Where he's like, people always try to put the solid drapes in the kids' room, but that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You got to put the polka dots. You got to do the stripes. You got to do stripe polka
Yeah,
dots.
it was
He's
like,
a learning
damn.
computer.
And that's what
That
he
line
learned.
was
And
fucking
that's what he
hilarious. I
learned.
heard you laugh.
I mean, but it was like
Patreon.com
you're laughing
kind
at
of
him,
funny.
you know what I
can
mean?
write your review in haiku form, just like Blackjack did. Blackjack says, humans never learn. Fate or fiction can't discern. Now, it's Legion's turn.
Holy shit, Blackjack always brings the rhymes. Because his
Bringing the
name rhymes.
And now here we got James Davis, 16 bits of awesome writes in. Linda Hamilton, she choked someone while handcuffed. Is this Nick's new kink?
That's always been my kink.
I was
Did
gonna
you
say,
like that scene?
old kink.
You were gone when we talked about it, but that was a very Nick scene. I
Oh,
agree.
when she just like when they were in the detainment center.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was good.
hot.
It was
Yeah.
really
It's hot.
good.
I liked her. I want to give a shout out to her costume design and her haircut, which I thought was really well
haircut.
done. Like that blunted cut, it looked militant, but I thought she did a good job. I thought they did a great job bringing her character back.
Yeah. Bow to the show. Now it's time to rank the Terminator Cinematic Universe, the Cameron verse. We don't have the picture because there's only 3 movies. Currently, number 1, T2, Judgment Day. Number 2, The Terminator.
Yep.
And then what do we think that Terminator Dark Fate ranks?
Number 3, but it's not an insult. We're not dark worlding it. It's just went up against 2 of the greatest movies, ever in terms of like what we're doing in action movies and like genre defining movies.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I think if this movie were to somehow be the sequel to the original Terminator, this would be a different story. But because Terminator 2 was so well made, an actual continuation of the story,
It might be
that elevated elevated it. Like it's hard. It's just impossible to beat. You're not going to beat it.
It really is. But I think that it's
why they barely tried.
the best job that they possibly could have. And
Yeah.
I thought that as an action movie, this is phenomenal.
And I
very
think-
well directed and worth watching.
You're talking about the best job they could have, right? I think also the way they've distanced themselves and changed it of like, it's not Skynet. Now, if they want to go forward with this, I do feel that it is like, oh, cool. I'm interested in what this story is more than what I was with T3, Salvation, Genesis, all this. It was just like, all right.
I'm interested to see where that fight goes. Like I'm tired of them coming back in the past. I know that's the fun of it and that's the trope, but I really want them to. I think the next one they make should be more like Salvation, where it's in the future.
I'd
and we're
love to.
seeing
I'd
all
love
that
to
stuff.
live Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Like actually have it be like.
I'm not interested in seeing
power
where it
goes
goes
out,
at all.
this, that.
I hope that there's not any more movies.
There
I don't
will
think
be.
that they can work. Like I feel like there's
Yeah.
no chance that a sequel is better than this.
It
Because
definitely
it does
loses-
the whole weird reboot sequel thing where it's like I feel like that's a one-off idea. Like the more you go off it, then you're just kind of creating a new thing, but that new thing will never be truly new.
Here's the thing about it, where I hear you and I agree with you. Like when and being a big Terminator fan, right? When we did get into Salvation on Genesis, I was like, ugh, like I don't care about the Resistance fighting that much. Here, I'm interested in Sarah and Danny and how much time they get together, and then what it would look like as if you know how much I love zombie movies when they start of like, hey, cool, this is the world falling apart. What does the world look like falling apart in that moment? How do you like taking it in a different direction rather than doing the hard jump just to like we're fighting robots. We're just fighting robots out here every day doing this. I don't need that.
How did you gather those people from a militia into an army? How did you get the tech?
I don't
did you do all
need
that,
that, but I'm more interested in that than I ever was when they were like, we're making all these Terminator movies with Christian Bale. I'm like, don't do that.
Well, like a world where they've co-opted some of the machine technology and built it into augmented humans to fight the machines is cool. I could see something fun happening.
Not to mention, again, now we keep talking about it like Judgment Day's pretty much next, tomorrow or 2 years or whatever in this thing. Now that they have the information, it's also an interesting thing of trying to fight and stop it and delay Judgment Day, right? And like stop Legion from going online and stuff. You still have more modern stuff.
I agree with
three.
all of you. Yeah, I'm mostly with Tim and Greg where I enjoyed the shit out of this movie, but
Bros.
I don't think that
Terminator Bros.
I don't think that it can be. I don't think it can beat T1 or T2.
No.
I think those movies are just so goddamn good, and I'm really glad that we did this because otherwise I probably would have never fully watched those movies. And now like T2 is one of my favorite movies ever. Yeah.
It's fucking.
Here's my question to you guys. This is one of the first movies we've actually like seen that's been released as we're reviewing it. Do you guys think people need to go out to the theaters to see this, or is this definitely like a stay at home and watch it on when it comes to Netflix?
I think it's a Netflix one.
For me, I say I recommend it being watched on a big screen because I think those action sequences are some of the best action I've seen recently, in recent time.
I think if you go to movies often, this is worth watching.
Yeah.
Like if you have AMC A-list or whatever,
100% you should
highest
see it in
possible.
theaters.
absolutely. Like I think I recommend it because I think those seeing it on a Dolby screen with like we didn't do that obviously, but if you saw it on a Dolby screen with like a really really awesome sound system, like those action sequences are fucking cool. If you're really into good action, go see it.
Yeah, I thought it was a great time at the movie, so I would say to go do it. I honestly want to see it again. I don't know if I'd run to the theater again to see it, but if it was like we had nothing else going on at night, sure. But like when it comes out for rent, I definitely want to watch it again.
Yeah, I personally didn't like it too much. It very much feels like a story that it does have cool action scenes, but I just feel like overall the story is weak and weakens the previous movies. So I just prefer if it didn't happen, but it has happened.
Would
and
you
now
go
it's
as far
canon.
as to say, Kevin, that it ruined your childhood?
No.
Would you watch it in theaters or Netflix?
I think having seen it now, I think I would recommend seeing it on a big screen because I'm with Andy on that. I think the action sequences are so good that they're worth seeing on a bigger screen, and I think that you care about the characters enough to actually give a shit about what's happening in the action. So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely like Deadpool 2-ish fun though, where you're like, okay, well, we're having
Yeah,
fun, but
I
don't need to see this again.
I
ever.
didn't need for this to happen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm glad I went.
But we're here.
Like, yeah.
I got a popcorn. I'm happy.
So next movie for review is Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith next Tuesday. It's exciting times. I'm actually really excited for that.
I am too.
We'll see how it goes. But until then.
Hasta la vista, baby.